Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are minting coins. Today on the show, we are going to be talking about all sorts of things, including FedCoin. We're going to be talking about USDC, and we're going to be talking about the Federal Reserve issuing their new tests from the New York Fed on FedCoin, on the digital dollar, on central bank digital currencies. And we are talking about this on the 1-year anniversary of the signing of the ENS DAO Constitution. And to get us started with the discussions and introductions, we have a great panel of guests. Some are here, some might be popping in a little bit. Sometimes we're not going to know who's coming in onto the show. So with that being said, we have 184 in the studio, returning guests. How are you doing?
Well, I'm great, Gary. How are you?
Very good. Very good. You want to introduce yourself and say hello to the audience?
Yeah, so I've already shared a little bit about myself, so I'll share a different story. In high school, I was always teased for my name. They used to say, "You're not 184, you're 184." So I'm really thankful for the 2022 community who have given me back my confidence and identity.
Yeah, kids can be really mean. Kids can be really, really, really mean. And we have next up, we have Thread Girl. Thread Girl, are the CMO of Domain Plug, right? How you doing? You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, how are you guys? Man, I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm trying to turn on my cam and it isn't working. I hope I can get that fixed in the show. Um, so happy to be with you, Gary 184 and the NFT verse, and super excited to be talking about the shit that I hate the most, right? Fucking centralization and the fat coins. So yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, I know it's bittersweet. Central bank digital currencies, stable coins, they provide onboarding to the masses, but there's a lot of risks involved. We're going to be getting into that. And then we have the NFT verse. Hey, NFT verse, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you hear me okay, Gary?
Yeah, you sound great. Smooth voice.
Oh, man, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. What's up, 184, Thread Girl? How's it going? Yeah, I'm excited, man, for the conversation. Just a quick introduction, I guess, real quick. The NFT verse. I go by the NFT verse. I participate pretty regularly out in the Twitter spaces. Kind of co-hosting at sometimes the ENS update show that we do Monday through Friday in the Twitter space at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And I also host the Friday Night Happy Hour, the ENS Friday Night Happy Hour on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, I'm a huge ENS advocate. Big on Web3, big on technology, big on the development and the whole creation of the ecosystem that we're all passionate about. So I look forward to the discussion today, Gary. What's
You
up,
are not
crypto
just
reporter?
you are not just a steady voice, the NFT verse, but you are also very, very good at seeing the future or making predictions or having like a blockchain from tomorrow or something, because you tweet something, I pay attention. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, and crypto reporter.
What's going on, guys? Hey, everybody.
Hey,
What's
camera's
up,
on. Great to see you. Welcome to the show. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, who?
Yeah, do you want to? Yeah, welcome to the show. Do you want to just say hello for anyone that watching the video for the first time and doesn't know who you are? Just say your name, maybe what you do, and whatnot.
Oh no, I'm just that guy, No. Hey everybody, my name is Crypto Reporter. I am a writer, designer, and just a full-on Web3 enthusiast. ENS Maxi, of course. I do a lot of writing for Gary for Web3 Domains. Shout out Web3 Domains. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And yeah, just an active member in the community. Yeah, just love talking about ENS. So that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm glad to be here.
Very cool. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so like crazy day, right? It's a crazy day. There's just like a lot happening in crypto, a lot happening in the world, a lot of people on edge. We just had the elections, right? The day after the elections, we have the FTX blow up situation, which is really crazy. And yeah, and there's that just consuming everything else in the news. And and then today we get there's all the stuff happening in Russia and the geopolitics, but then and then I guess we're also hearing the FedCoin, right? The digital dollar. We're hearing like so much happening in the space. There's like so much to really go over, to really talk about. And before we do, I just find some information here and just say, yeah, listen, if you're new to the channel, I'm asking that you subscribe, like this video. Liking this video helps a lot, helps the algorithm, helps the engagement. Comment, definitely like this video, comment, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/mintingcoins, twitter.com/Gary Palmer Jr. Check out our website, mintingcoins.com, and Patreon. You can become a member through the website or through Patreon. At some point in the not too distant future, we will be doing these private videos where we're going to be able to say more and do more that we can't normally say, that we can't normally do. But without getting like deep into that rabbit hole, that's just to let people know what's coming and how they can support us. Because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the market, and so let's like start right up, dive into it. The first thing I just wanted to talk about real quick, going into the market, like where are we with the market? Bitcoin, is this just under $17,000? Market, probably kind of crazy. USDC doing USDC. Looks like everything is roughly up in the market right now. But something I've talked about a lot, not that I like talking about price a lot, but just to really get into it, because we know that we're sort of screwed with the bear market. We know that we're sort of screwed with everything that's happened with FTX. And we know that, the bear market, like what we're being told, what the sentiment is, that things have gone from being like a bad bear market to an even worse bear market. And just the one, like the most important indicator that I use, right? I'm giving you guys my alpha here. The one indicator that I use to sort of get a sense of the market is that, because basically Bitcoin goes down and Ethereum goes down because everything goes down. I think it's called Hart's Law, right? Because everything is connected to Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down because of the liquidity pairs. One of these, points is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust.
Right.
And Kathy Wood's, ARK Investments, they purchased 350,000 shares, right? Shares in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And his Bitcoin Trust is currently trading at a 40% premium. That means when you buy Bitcoin on Grayscale, it's going to be 40% cheaper, right? So instead of paying $17,000 for one Bitcoin, you can purchase one Bitcoin for $10,000, right? $10,000 for one Bitcoin instead of $17,000. Right. And there's this arbitrage going on. And so the way that I see it is just, if, there's a lot of money out there, right? Like smart money is just people that have a lot of money. And if there's a lot of money out there and if they're bearish on Bitcoin, if they think that the market is going to continue to be down, then this number would be down. But if they thought, everything is getting better in the economy, the Fed is going to do things to, help Bitcoin, and the economy is going to help things to Bitcoin, and the market's turning around and doing things to help Bitcoin, if the charts were saying, hey, Bitcoin's like turning around, if the analysis said, hey, the bottom is in and we've reached max pain and nobody's going to be selling and dumping anymore, for the next like ever, and we're about to enter a bull market, we would see this, instead of seeing this premium, this discount, instead of seeing it go away, or I'm sorry, instead of seeing it increase, we would see it go away. And then the Bitcoin on here would actually become more expensive instead of much cheaper. What do you guys? You guys care about this stuff at all, or what do you think about this 40% premium, this $10,000 Bitcoin through GBTC?
So yeah, because to be honest, I saw that article and I was just thinking that we already know Kathy is a genius. She spot on with Bitcoin and everything like that. But to see, kind of her put her money where her mouth is another thing. And seeing that it's like a 40% like discount. And I think the reason being is because, of course, SEC and stuff like that, you start to realize that it wasn't in place. There's no structure in place. So I think they end up doing something as far as Bitcoin instruments, something that is like related to Bitcoin in a sense, and that was what GBC or Grayscale Bitcoin Trust was. And so because there's not really that regulatory framework, that's why it's trading at such a discount right now. Because aren't they trying to go to they're trying to hit ETF status right now, but it's just like they don't have the framework for it, and so now they're actually suing. I think this like the SEC, because there is no framework for that, because they can't. But at the same time, you want to know what's funny? They were able to get the inverse, right? So you could trade against Bitcoin, and they were able to get that on the market, but they never got the actual Grayscale Bitcoin Trust on the market. So it's like you're playing games at that point, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So it's just this whole situation is just very interesting. But Kathy was smart. Kathy is very smart doing that.
It's just such a tough kind of metric to look at from my perspective, because any of the GBTC, it's non-redemptive. You can't really do anything after you have it. It's an asset that you're going to buy and hold that you don't have custody of. So that ETF is extremely important for the redemptive qualities. So I don't know how to trade it. I hear what you say, Gary, but I just don't know how to trade it. And I think the rise up in this market, at the peak of the market, before we did let's say we got 60 odd K, and then we dipped harshly before going back up to 69. I'm pretty sure that whole time GBTC was like the discount was increasing. So I just don't know how to play the metric.
Yeah, so the GBTC is for people who, the way that I see it at least, and it's not for me, right? I'm not someone who plays in the GBTC, but the way that I see the GBTC is that it's for people who have money in the traditional financial system,
right?
And they are not able to use that money just to buy Bitcoin outright, right. And so they want to put their money somewhere, and it's just like poker chips. It's just poker chips, and they just want to buy Bitcoin and then sell Bitcoin. And if they thought the price was going to go up, just think about it. If they thought Bitcoin, the real price of Bitcoin, they thought the real price of Bitcoin was 17,000. They could buy it right now, and they just make $7,000 on the coin. And then and so I just see it that it's not really for me to trade and get into, because I don't have a pool of money that's stuck in the traditional financial system. And so I'm just using this as an indicator that lets me see kind of what are the whales doing, right? What is somebody what is like the crowdsourcing a lot of people who have investment funds, or just crowdsourcing the whales who are able to buy into this, right? The thing about the whales who love Bitcoin, right? They can have their funds purchase into this, I would imagine, but they're not doing that. And so that's just how I look at it, is that this is just like a signal for me to see what the big money is doing in the traditional financial system and what they think is happening, right?
And the funny thing is they want this, like there are institutions right now that are waiting on the sidelines with the actual capital, that want something like an ETF, and they may not understand Bitcoin, but they want that exposure just to simply, diversify and like risk management. So it's frustrating to see the whole process kind of play out, and it's kind of like, it's really a slap in the face that they were able to get some resources out, some financial instruments out there that are betting against Bitcoin, but aren't able to get that actual ETF out there. And so that's why they're, going on with that, and really, are really trying to get that framework, and really trying to get that framework all together, because it's really a slap in the face to people that actually believe in technology, that believe that there is a need for that financial instrument to be out there. But yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. I mean, shout out Kathy, she's a genius. Like you said, figure out what the smart money is doing and follow their lead,
Yeah. Well, that's just one option for people, that are in the digital financial market, and what is it? The digital currency group, they're seeking to get GBTC to become an ETF, but that's being, to me, it seems like that's being resisted, right, by the key players. And so because it's being resisted by the key players, what we see is just a lot of what do we see? We just see a lot of other coins happening. We see a lot of other projects, a lot of other companies trying to find out how can they make their way, because there's so much uncertainty and so little clarity. I mean, that's one of the reasons why FTX was a disaster, is because there's so little clarity about what are the regulations. Yeah. And then that pushes it outside of America, and then it crashes, and then they it's like the bicycle meme where the guy makes himself trip.
It's funny because weren't there some like Canadian pension funds that were invested in FTX but couldn't invest in the actual like Bitcoin or Ethereum? I think that's crazy. It's funny how that can work. And so people are using like stocks like Coinbase or MicroStrategies as kind of like proxies to the actual, to the actual Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I think the same thing is kind of, in the gold market, where, you can invest in the commodity itself, or you can invest in the miners. I think the same process, is happening. We're seeing that play out. But yeah, this whole thing is it's very interesting. Very interesting.
I think I'm more curious, going back to the actual discount, right? That discount is huge to me. I feel like there's some type of formula, some type of hidden formula behind it. Call me a conspiracy theorist, right? But I just feel like there's more to it. That's a huge discount to me to purchase the Bitcoin at that type of rate. I just wonder, what are the factors? What's the formula behind that discount? Are they truly getting that $10,000 mark? Are the investors truly hitting that $10,000 mark with that purchase, or is it going somewhere else? That would be my first question, and I'm pretty sure you can look at the paper and the information surrounding that investment and get a little bit more detail on the formula that it exists upon. But that would be that's the first thing that I would research before I even bought into that GBTC. And another thing is that, Kathy Wood, she's an interesting person, right? Like Crypto Reporter was saying that, he feels like she's a genius, right? She does make some great investments. And I'll just tell you guys this. I actually registered ArtCoin .eth a while ago.
Nice.
Right? And I minted that because of her strategy of investing, because I felt like at some point in time, she may want to carve out a piece into the crypto world and offer up their own token, their own art token or art coin. But I minted art coin because I felt like the way she diversifies in those investments, that if she did want to bridge over, something like Art Coin would be a great play for her.
I feel like, didn't she double down on coin? Like, as soon as the whole FTX thing happened, she kind of doubled down and went with Coinbase and started putting investments into Coinbase as well. And I think
she was already investing in the Coinbase. So basically, yeah, she
Right.
doubled down. It's like her just continuing to double down on like Coinbase, which was one of her core trades, is Coinbase and GBTC. She's a big believer in Bitcoin.
Yeah. And so that it kind of like tells you the conviction of like, okay, even though I'm unable to invest in the exchange, and thank God she didn't, but she doubled down on what she believed in. And so that kind of really shows her conviction of where she thinks this thing is headed. And yeah, I've seen some reports about like Web3 as well from her, and she thinks it's gonna, I mean, she knows that it's reaching that trajectory where it's going to reach the masses. Like, everything is going digital. Yeah, it's great to see there are people like that are hyper focused on the things that are coming.
Yeah, well, that's probably enough that we can say about that. Just the thing is just, this isn't something that I would purchase into. I mean, again, if I was like stuck in a 401k or something, or I would talk to my financial advisor and I would ask them like, hey, can I do this, or does my thing qualify for this? But in terms of me, like, I just look at this discount, because this discount just hit a record, right? This is like a record, right? Normally it's like 20 or 30%. Like, this is like a record low, and it's like kind of shocking. And yeah, there's totally a formula, and you can look at the formula, but basically it's its own little market. And if nothing else changes, it's just people need to buy it for the price to go up. It's a limited amount. And when you buy it, you're sort of stuck. You have to hold it for a certain amount of time. You can't just like turn around and sell it like a week later.
Right.
So it's like a decision, right? So basically, yeah, just what I do, and just as like a education, like data point, when I'm just like looking at data, this isn't like for financial decisions, because I just dollar cost average. But yeah, when this discount like starts to decrease and then go away and then become positive and becomes like not a discount but turns into a premium, and it's been a premium before in the past, that just tells me, okay, Bitcoin is either getting hot or it is hot, right? Like, this discount is telling me that, like, wow, man, like, how far can the rubber band stretch, right? Like, how far can the rubber band stretch? And 40% is that's a big stretch. That's all. So when we look at this number, it just gives us an indication of what the big money's thinking.
Yo, can I say something?
Yeah, girl, jump in, Fred girl.
So, man, this
Get your
is
camera working too.
39.8% is huge, right? So I totally understand the market sentiment and everything, a series of negative events happening in the industry, but like to what NFT verse was saying, if she's too smart and knows what she's doing, it's gonna make me think back about our original topic, which is our regulations coming in very hard, and this is why we're seeing this huge percentage discount, or you know what I'm saying? It's it's too much.
Yeah, they're concerned about regulation, and basically the way that I read it is that they're just really concerned that the market is going to go down more. They're buying into the FTX narrative of things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better. And keep in mind, people, they could be wrong, right? They could be wrong. Like, just because they have a lot of money doesn't mean that they couldn't be wrong. It's like Bitcoin, like, they don't know, right? It's like they don't control Bitcoin, just like when Bitcoin forked, you know what I mean? And everybody wanted to do one thing, but they forked the whole network. It's like there's like a power struggle, and it's like it's a supply and the demand, and it comes down to are people, like, are there more people that are going to sell when the economy gets worse. Is the economy going to get worse? But yeah, I mean, the whole market can turn around in a couple months, or yeah, it can take a long time. We don't know. And so, yeah, this is just a data point that I've used in the past, but we can shift over and talk about before we get to some of the meeting stuff. Oh yeah.
Can I close that out? And correct me if I'm wrong here. But GBTC, as far as I'm aware, is also one-to-one backed, and it's with Coinbase custody. So bringing back that Coinbase thing, and Coinbase custody has done a really good job. I'm a bit of a fan of Brian Armstrong. People don't like him because he's Coinbase and Coinbase is bad, but Coinbase has done amazing things. And Brian Armstrong has done amazing things for the industry for the years that he's been around, many years. But with their custody in Coinbase custody, they're also insured, legitimately insured. And Coinbase has been very careful. Like, they're not an FTX. Saying that, I should knock on wood, but you know, there is a lot to be said for GBTC.
Coinbase, I heard, did have a little bit of money locked up in the FTX fiasco. I saw some things afterward, but yeah, they're a lot more conservative. And I don't know if GBTC is using Coinbase or exactly how that's working, or if it's one-to-one, but it is insured in a US dollar value, not in the Bitcoin value. But it is insured, and it is a far more regulated, right? And they do want to become an ETF, and yeah, they're not allowing that, right? And with what NFTverse said, yeah, it's also possible that Grayscale or Grayscale or Digital Currency Group, Grayscale's the parent company's Digital Currency Group, they could purchase like shares, or they could sell shares, and they could like equalize the price, but they don't want to do that because they don't want to give up any of that Bitcoin, because they know like it's more valuable than like gold, literally. And yeah, so I'm not like a super expert on this, guys. Like, I just look at the one little data point, but it is real. I just think it's like, if I didn't know, if this was the first time I was looking at this, I would think it was really interesting that like you could essentially buy a Bitcoin or like a share of GBTC for, $10,000.
It's crazy because I think that there's a lot of favors being done maybe in the background, because how can you have, basically what they're saying is that you can't use this, we can't create an ETF for you, but they're allowing for an ETF to be created to do the opposite, to be able to bet against the coin. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You would want like an ETF to be out there for the basic long position, but that isn't happening. But they were able to create an ETF or a financial instrument to short the Bitcoin. And so that was able to get passed. Why isn't this getting passed? And so it's like, okay, something is wrong here, because I can somehow short the coin. I can somehow short using this instrument Bitcoin, but I can't long it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense if you just put in the right sort of ideas in place, and you just have to think, how does it hurt and how does it help? And it obviously hurts crypto by being able to bet against it, and obviously they want to hurt crypto. Obviously, I know it's like what we're seeing with like how things are being regulated, attacking little projects that are doing everything right, and like literally sheltering FTX, which is literally doing everything wrong, without getting into all sorts of conspiracy and whatnot, which would be great for the members only show, because man, there is like so much to talk about that, like that we can't say like publicly, right, or that we shouldn't say, or that distracts publicly. And then there's other things that we're seeing, like stable coins, and there's other things that we're seeing like FedCoins. And so maybe we could get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, I'm with it sometimes.
Yeah, so Circle adds support in Apple Pay, and Circle is the creator of USDC.
Right.
Yep, and they're adding support for Apple Pay. And so now everybody through Apple Pay is going to be able to have integrated the Circle payment solution on the iWatch, the iPad, the iPhone. Mentions that the stablecoin issuer will be able to bring in more payment options to make cryptocurrency payments acceptance easier. So not just USDC, but other things as well. And I think what's really interesting about this, sort of just to like jump to the chase, is that USDC, a lot of people have been wondering if USDC could be the de facto FedCoin. If USDC could just get commandeered or acquired as the United States, FedCoin, stablecoin, digital dollar, right? Can USDC be the US digital dollar that the United States Treasury or the Federal Reserve adopts? And, what USDC and what these private digital currencies make me think about is what happened with Libra. Because what happened with Libra was really interesting. With Libra and Facebook, when Facebook came out, and remember Facebook came out a long time ago, they said they wanted to make their own digital currency.
Bitcoin, they shut that down.
They shut that down. Yeah, and they said that they were going to make a basket of currencies. They were going to have some dollars and all these different world currencies, put them in a basket, and they were going to have Facebook coin. And I think like national security looked at Facebook and looked at, if we think about the network citizen, if we think about digital citizenship, right, in Web3 in the digital world, Facebook is like a country.
Exactly.
It's a community of people that all congregate in the same place. It's like, what is it? It's like billions of people.
Right.
It's billions of people, and they do business, right? They do love, they do family, they do hobbies, they do communications, right? Personal work, pleasure, all of it is happening on Facebook, right? Like there's like a marketplace on Facebook for like a Craigslist sort of deal. Like everything is on Facebook. And now if they're going to have payments, then that makes Facebook a really powerful digital nation state.
Right.
And yeah, that got shut down. But we have these other private currencies like USDC, and JP Morgan also has their own stable coin. A lot of companies, right? There's a lot of stable coins out there. And USDC is like, closely, it's like, Coinbase's stable coin. This is what Coinbase uses. And I just sort of compare, private stable coins with a government fiat stable coin.
I feel like, with the whole USDC thing, and when you made that comparison to Facebook, I just feel like there's a lot of people who have to sign off on that, right? People we don't see, right? Behind the scenes. I think that once you start getting into that financial conglomerate stage, right? Like Facebook was trying to get into, like you said, Gary, there's a whole lot of power that comes with that. And if you don't have the blessing of the powers that be to move in that direction, it's not going to happen. Right. They choose who they want to put in the forefront based on, the selection of whatever selection they have behind the scenes. They determine who will hold that title of USDC, right? And I truly believe that USDC will be that quote unquote Fed coin, right? This is the test run for it. This is the test run, kind of putting it out there to the masses. So the narrative can become normal. So the usage becomes normal. Once things become normalized, then that's when they know that they can adopt the technology behind it and say, hey, let's go ahead and move forward with it. So I think that there's a lot of players involved. It's just not, you can't just jump on the scene. First of all, Facebook owned all the people data anyway, right? They own all that anyway. You can't own that and own the financial system. That's not going to work, Facebook. So that's kind of why they probably shut that down. But if they can dictate who they want and who they choose to take part into the financial system, because we're talking about trillions of dollars, trillions, multi-trillions of dollars worldwide with the cryptocurrency. That's a lot of money flowing through these systems. and they're not just going to give that permission to anyone. Once they find them, they test run it. If the test runs well, if they're able to kind of get transparency of it, then they'll give them a stamp of approval. That's just my take on it. That's just my take, guys.
I'd agree with that, though. This being the test, but they'll probably do their own version. Like they won't use USDC because they'll want to have tight controls and all sorts of things on top of that. But yeah, it's the test. I agree.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that I mean, we can all agree. No one wants a central bank digital currency. Like we've seen, them trying to pilot it in different countries, and it doesn't really work well. But if they have some sort of private company, and honestly, Circle is the best one to really do that. I mean, you get investments from BlackRock. BlackRock has trillions. If you're with tied with BlackRock or like Vanguard or something like that, then you know your stuff. And when they invest in you, it's like that's how you know that you're at a certain level. And so when you have like BlackRock, going into, you have Fidelity investing into you, they're basically saying that, hey, this market is going to last, so we better start, placing our bets on the things that are really going to work. And it's funny how, these companies are really starting to realize that institutions are really starting to find their way in to this. And I think that like you said, USDC with the Apple, oh my gosh, just the Apple API, that's all you need. You're tapping into that ecosystem. And really the reason why they couldn't have Facebook do it is because no one liked Mark. And it was too much power, It was so much power. And if you add like you said, if you add a payments portion to that's giving you a lot of power. I mean, like with Ant Group, they have their own, payment section as well. You have all these different companies combined into one. That's a mega app right there. That's a lot of power. And so they had to shut that down. And I think that really with these ecosystems that we're building with cryptocurrency, it's being built up really by a community and not by one central power. And so I think that it's important that we kind of know the difference.
Let me tell you one thing. I'm definitely never, ever, ever using Apple Pay USDC bullshit. We are using we are here in DeFi trying to be decentralized and preserving our anonymity as much as we can, and this is like giving away all your credentials in a sense, and all of this to be sold, right? Because everything we use now, we are the products of what we think we are using as products, and now we're gonna be products of all our purchases, every move we make, and that's like super wrong. I know some people are seeing this as the Trojan horse of mass adoption, but if this is what mass adoption looks like, I don't want it, to be honest, because this is, to me, the super most wrong way to onboard people into Web3, because this isn't Web3. This is onboarding people into more establishment control and government control and people knowing all your shit. And yeah, and this news came out today, and as well the Mastercard, they're launching a 12-week experimental digital dollar pilot.
Yeah, they're doing it with the New York Fed Reserve, right? That's what the FedCoin. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. And so I guess popping back right before we get into that. Yeah, so you mentioned BlackRock, crypto reporter, and so BlackRock is a gigantic company. right?
Right.
BlackRock is they probably, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they probably literally own half of America.
Right.
They own everything, right? They just like spend, and not only that, but they spend on behalf of like I believe the Federal Reserve, and like so they're doing the quantitative easing themselves, like how to direct those funds and what to purchase into. And so there's a lot of players in the space. And real quick, shout out to Thread Girl from Kimba, who's saying yes, Thread Girl. hand throw emoji. Yeah, decentralization is really key. And yeah, that's what concerns me about, all these really large players really concentrating money, having a lot of power and control, right? Like those are one of the risks in the ENS DAO, right? Is that, I mean, BlackRock, right? I said that 3 times, maybe they'll show up. Gotta be careful there. But, yeah, I mean, they can take a huge amount. I mean, they probably own, like through companies and directly, they probably own a bunch of like crypto, like maybe, I don't know, one way or another. But they could, come in, they could purchase a lot of Bitcoin, they could purchase a lot of Ethereum, they could purchase a lot of ENS token, and they could have a huge control and a huge say over that. And so we have players like BlackRock, we have SWIFT, the International Payments Network, and Mastercard, and all of them we'll be talking about in a second. You have Stripe, and what do you have? You have Plaid. You have all these big players in the space, and then you have JP Morgan. And so something really interesting about the JP Morgan is that JP Morgan Chase is the largest private bank in the country. I don't know if it's the largest private bank in the world, or with Deutsche Bank. But I know Deutsche Bank had a whole bunch of problems recently. But I thought it was really interesting with everything happening right now. Did you guys see the Kevin O'Leary video, the recent one, the new one?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Kevin O'Leary went from being very upset about the FTX and wanting regulation to now saying he's going to give, he would be willing to give SBF or not. Yeah. FTX and SBF more money to recapitalize the company. And he still wants more regulation. So the person that defrauded everybody and stole $10 billion, right? And so it's really interesting to see the power players, to see, okay, they're allowing you to short Bitcoin. They're not allowing you to easily buy Bitcoin. They're not allowing you to have a Bitcoin ETF, let alone an Ethereum ETF or an ENS ETF or anything like that. And so they're doing puff pieces on FTX. They're fighting for regulation. They're lifting up USDC. They're doing their own experiments on FedCoin, which we're going to get into. They're all blaming DeFi. DeFi had nothing to do with the FTX debacle, right? Nothing to do with the FTX debacle. FTX wasn't even holding any Bitcoin, and FTX had nothing to do with trading. And the Alameda company wasn't even doing anything special. They were just stealing money from FTX to pay the bills. And so with all that being said, we see the narrative is very, very clearly against open blockchain. It's against DeFi. It's about re-centralizing that power, and the media, just writing those pieces, the mainstream media, not the alternative media, but the mainstream media writing these pieces in this narrative. And so what really caught my eye, right, is not the fact that, JP Morgan said this about that, but it's like the contrast. Why when everybody is talking smack about DeFi, and JP Morgan used to talk, Jamie Dimon used to say lots of bad things, right? We know about all that maybe, right? Yeah. Why is JP Morgan identifying central players as the root cause of the crypto collapse? And why are they saying that DeFi was not an issue? Although they do say that they believe that the answer is more regulation, empowering crypto skeptics, pointing out the recent collapse in the crypto system from centralized players, not from decentralized protocols. But the bank also believes that the recent events can awaken and speed up regulations. And then this is going to help the institutional adoption of cryptocurrency, because it's going to give JP Morgan Chase more power in DeFi, because the regulation is going to give them power. But is it just me, or in the world of like, Web3 and seeing the regulation against us, I just thought it was like a little shocking that JP Morgan was going against the mainstream narrative. What do you guys make about that?
I want to jump on that real quick. Uh, those guys, the big guys, are the smart money and they know what they're doing, right? And I believe it's like you can't tell the people, hey, we're gonna regulate everything. No, you're gonna get attacked with people who don't want those regulations. What you do is say, I'm on your side, guys. I want to help you. I know what you want, and I want to fix things up more for you so you don't get scammed by founders or centralized exchanges or whatnot. And this is like, I feel this is the game that he's playing. Like the dude literally co-signed on the CBDC a couple of days ago, and now he's saying he identifies centralized players as the root cause. This is a joke for real.
Yeah, I agree with Thread Girl on that. It's interesting. I think it's just tactical. I think it's strategic because they've already talked about having their own blockchain or using blockchain to some extent, right? So if they can get in the good graces of the crypto community, because they understand that the crypto community is large, and at the same time they understand that there's a lot of smart people that are in the crypto community that would tear them apart if they don't do things correctly, right? So I think it's a tactical way to distract from the fact that Diamond has came out and said stuff against crypto at one point in time, and now trying to retract that and be for crypto,
Right.
and blame it on the centralized platforms. And he's saying it based on that quote in that title. He's saying it as if he's not centralized himself, and they haven't been the center of so many fiat type tragedies where people have lost billions of dollars in their ecosystem. It's just interesting the way that he is trying to approach this. I don't know if he thinks everybody's just completely dumb out here in this this crypto ecosystem, but I think they're gonna soon find out that we're not, and I think that they're just using their power and their ability to kind of broadcast it across the airwaves because they have the capital to do that, and they can change the narrative to the masses anytime they want to. So that's the way that I look at it. I really don't trust anything that they're doing, and people just have to pay close attention and pay close attention to what they've said in the past to what they're saying today, and see how those things correlate, and make sure that you're following every single step that they're making, because they'll always misstep. They'll always step in a hole and break their ankle because they're always trying to come back and retract things. So you just got to pay attention to that type of stuff.
I want to say one more thing. Uh, um, Me being a victim of the banking system, I am sorry that I said this is a joke. It's insulting. It's insulting for people like him or people who are like governors in the banking systems and of the establishment to say, hey, we want to make things better for you, or it's the problem is because of the centralized whatever term they use. Like this is literally insulting for me to hear people like JP Morgan or others say that kind of stuff.
Why do you think, I mean, so Citi, so we're gonna get into it. But there's all these other banking giants. I didn't see JP Morgan on the list. Maybe they are, but all these other banking giants, and all these other places that are just saying, I mean, just I mean, I guess it just caught my eye that it's because it's a joke either way, right? In terms of like where they're coming from, and you know the shit that they talked, and how everything that we said before. I mean, it was bullshit back then, right? Like JP Morgan, they were talking shit about crypto, and while they were talking about shit about crypto and the price was going down, their traders were trading crypto. While Jamie Dimon was talking shit about crypto, his daughter was purchasing mad crypto. And he said, oh, yeah, these kids, right? I don't know what she's doing. Like, she's her own person, right? I'm sure, like, you know, they weren't having breakfast and, like, and he's, like, telling all his traders on the phone, like, don't trade, or it's, like, on the news, don't, and the price is going down. And she's just the daughter of a banker. She probably doesn't know anything about, you know, FOMO and market crashing and stuff, right? No, of course she knows. Like, she's a smart woman. He's a smart guy. He's making the price go down. His traders are trading it. His daughter's buying it. And 5 years later, they're doubling down on this. I just think it's interesting that they're putting out news that the cause of crypto wasn't DeFi. I mean, my enemy's enemy is my friend, isn't it? And
yeah, but
JP Morgan is saying good things about DeFi right now.
yeah, but the game is like them 1 week and they're villains the next. It's the game that they play. Talk is cheap, but talk can be harmful. And as you say, we've seen this, you know, repeatedly play out over the years in this cycle alone. So
you're saying I'm a victim of good cop, bad cop? That like JP Morgan is coming in as a good cop. Like we just got hit with all this news being like DeFi sucks. Now JP Morgan is a good cop. Being like, hey, let me get you a coffee. You want a donut? This guy, he's an asshole. I'm JP Morgan, right? But so you think it's like a good cop, bad cop situation? Like I think Kimba is saying they're all hypocrites and liars, period.
It's no different to what he did on the way up, during the last bear market. So he gave comments about we're interested in blockchain. Blockchain is interesting. You know, he stopped with the rhetoric that was so negative, and then turned around and gave the rhetoric again that was, you know, Bitcoin is trash and whatnot. So it's just the game that they play, and we are very forgetful because we're in this fast industry, and you know we learn through mistakes, we learn through getting burned, we learn through education, but as a whole the crypto industry is still quite naive. So we look to these people and we say they are amazing. I mean, let's go back to the Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary is a fool, and he was not a fool a week ago to a lot of people. And at some stage, he'll flip the switch and he'll no longer be a fool. You know, maybe he'll buy a 10K and suddenly we like the guy again. So we do forget these things very quickly. We obviously need to keep the mentality of FedCoin sucks, and these people, their actions matter more than their words, and their words can still be harmful. But it's just their game.
Man, those people are trading the highs and lows. They are shorting and literally everything, whether we're talking about the media or the big institutions and whatever. It's politics and Web3, right? They do one thing under the table and then talk whatever scenario they want to be pushed out on the media and out there.
They can control the narrative, and the funny thing is, everything is fine until it isn't. Like even up to touching on like the FTX thing, he was like swearing, everything's okay, everything is fine. Meanwhile, on the back end, doing other things, trying to raise capital and stuff like that. It's a lot. But if you can control the narrative, then you win at the end of the day. So it's just a lot. What's going on, Gwen, man? I see you, man.
What's going on, fam? I got in here a little bit late, but I was watching the stream. It's nice to put a face to you, crypto reporter. I'm waiting for the day I can see Verse, but I heard he was a famous college hoop star, so I think he's got to stay low key. And and then I wanted to point something out. I know we've been on more serious talk, but I don't know if anybody's pointed it out yet, but I do see the 184.eth hat, and it's looking good over there.
Oh, what? I didn't even see that.
Thank you very much. It arrived today, and I feel very very fancy right now. It's covering up my receding hairline.
That looks good.
Yo, Gary is trying to show you his hat as well, man. You're not seeing
it's
it.
not.
Yeah,
They
Gary
know.
put
They
us
know.
onto it.
They know.
He told us go get one the other week. I still didn't get mine, but 184 got right on it. So I love to see
Supplies
it.
are limited, guys. You know, supplies are limited. They only have like 1,000 of these hats.
Man, I'm so
Need
in tune
10,000.
with you today. I had
1,000.
my hat on and everything, and my cam isn't working. That really sucks.
Oh man, I mean, do you have your camera app open? Maybe something else is using the app.
No, I don't know. I need to update
You
something.
want to restart?
I'm
You
gonna
want to
get
restart your
on a-
computer?
No, she hiding from us. It's okay.
No,
Maybe,
no.
maybe.
Next
If you want to restart your
episode.
computer and come right back, you know what I mean?
Next episode, I have my cam on. I promise. But
So
yeah,
so
shout out to you, Gray man. So happy that you were able to join us.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Gray Man have to may take my spot in a second because I do have to go pick up my sister in a second. But yeah, if anything,
I was just going to jump crypto reporter what you said about, what was the last thing you said? It was even to the last minute, SBF was just lying through his teeth, lying through his tweets. And I got to say, I'm still with the Kevin O'Leary thing. That guy is heavily invested in FTX. So every piece of narrative right now, like I don't see FTX surviving this, but every bit of his narrative is, in my mind, it's for him trying to salvage some sort of capital. If there is any kind of relief that happens for FTX, he exits with 10 cents on the dollar or 20 cents or whatnot. So these people are lying through their teeth to the last point.
I mean, like you said, Kevin is a smart dude. They're all smart people, It's funny though, because at the end of the day, that could be your downfall. That could be your key. You think that, you run the things. You think that you're on top until you get hit. And I think that was one thing that we see when it comes to some top players. But it's funny how ironic it is that Jamie was saying all these things that are bad about crypto, but behind the scenes, they're experimenting with the technology, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that. The great thing about this though is that a lot of things are more transparent than they were, and so we're gonna see at the end of the day what's actually happening behind the scenes with this technology as well. That's gonna be great.
If they use DeFi. If they're using DeFi, we let them. So that's the contrast. Is the FTX model where we don't know what the hell is happening, and we're going to do a bailout one day, which is we don't want any chancellors on the brink of, second bailouts, or do we do the DeFi way, which is open and transparent and over collateralized and a lot safer than a risky bets, which made so many people lose their life savings in 2008. And the same risky bets where we have like 40% inflation right now, and so many people are at risk of losing not only what they have, but there's potential a lot more pain in front of us. So we gotta encourage these open systems that you're encouraging.
Yeah, we gotta wake up. But anyways, guys, this has been great. Gary, I'm going to hop off now, but this has been awesome. If you guys have another show, let me know.
Yeah, man. We'll have another show tomorrow. We have these shows right now. They're like 5 days a week. So you guys, everyone on this call, you guys are like welcome. Like this is like a normal crew. Come on, you just ping me and you guys jump on. Of course. Yeah. You have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at the ENS Update Show.
Yeah, maybe I'll get this mic working one day, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, I'll see you on the show tomorrow.
Nice to see you, man.
All right, take
be safe out there.
I wanted to say two more things about the FTX issue. Guys, I'm sorry. I was promised that I could get on a rant here. I have so much to say, and they don't fit into one tweet. And I was so upset the last week. But two things. First of all, to anyone hearing this, centralized exchanges are fucking banks, literal banks, legit banks. They not more, not less. If you're here because you want to get rid of banks, please do not go from banks to centralized exchanges. And second of all, man, I bet you, wait, I'm not going to talk about FTX itself. I'm going to talk about banks in general. If any bank gets bankrupt, right? You know what happens? It's always the same thing. The politicians, the people who are connected, the people who are involved, they know beforehand and they get their money beforehand. The only people who get screwed are the normies, the people like us, the average trader. This is the person who uh, who gets screwed by this system, and the rest they know in advance, and they have ways to get their money even in the last second, even after the crash. They can do that. So just this like food for thought, man. Don't think any one or anything is innocent in this whole fiasco that we saw the past week. Especially the people that had different opinions from one day to the next, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And an example of that, like I want to show you a hybrid example of that. Here we have wrapped Solana assets. You guys know about these? These are wrapped Solana assets. So we have basically Solana BTC and Solana ETH. You know how you have like wrapped Bitcoin, you have Run Bitcoin, Run BTC, WBTC. This is So BTC and So ETH. It's like So BTC. Yeah, so basically it was like pegged in the Solana blockchain, completely unpegged in the Solana blockchain. So BTC rate trading 70% below the Bitcoin price. This isn't like the grayscale thing we were talking about earlier with the 40% discount. This is like basically 100% to zero. No, because there's no way to redeem the underlying assets. You can't take So BTC token if you have it. I mean, it's kind of a cool collectible. I don't know if it's worth Bitcoin collectible, but if you have the So BTC token, you can't go to FTX anymore or anywhere and deposit it and trade it for Bitcoin. Solana DeFi will have to. So think about, so Solana DeFi is going to have to absorb that loss. And how crazy is that? So this is like a DeFi thing, right? Think about it. This is DeFi, So this is Solana DeFi. This is FTX Solana DeFi. That's completely insolvent.
Yeah, bro, this is why Solana has been getting wrecked bad the past week, and this is it's so BS, you know? Not so BTC, so BS.
I like that thread, girl.
Yeah, so just something to think about. It's like people that were buying So BTC, they were thinking, oh yeah, So BTC, that's DeFi. So BTC, that's Web3, right? And what happened is like So BTC was backed up, I mean, just you got to be careful about how these, just because it's using Web3. I think this is what I'm trying to say. Just because it's using Web3 doesn't mean that it's risk-free, obviously, right? Nothing is risk-free. Just because it's using Web3 doesn't mean it's 100% decentralized, right? Just because it's using Web3 doesn't mean you can't be rugged. And the centralized players, no matter where they are, this isn't just a shit on FTX because that's easy, because they obviously dropped it really bad, but this is about every project. And what are the weak points of those projects? What are the centralized versions of that project? Like bringing it back to ENS. When we think about the ENS protocol is 100% decentralized, right? There's .eth is decentralized. And yeah, there's the DAO. And the DAO has a couple admin permissions. And we have the Constitution, right? The ENS Constitution. ENS, and which today is the anniversary of the ENS DAO Constitution and the signing and the ratification of that ENS DAO Constitution. Pop the party poppers. Guayman there. He's hugging his copy. He's hugging his copy there. Definitely a cool thing. A couple hundred pages of all the signers. I believe it was about 85,000 people or addresses signed it. And yeah, their names are in the book with their PFPs. If those are set, today's that anniversary. And what is that book? What is that ENS DAO Constitution? What are the 5 articles in that ENS DAO Constitution have to do with the control over the ENS or the ENS DAO? Nothing. There's a couple admin permissions, and you have to, that's only controlled. It's automatically controlled in a smart contract through the voting of the ENS token. There isn't someone in the background that's pushing buttons, right? The attack vector is with the tokens. If you have the tokens, you can make the vote go a certain way. And if you can make the vote go a certain way, it's like a democracy. If there's more than 1 million votes, that ratifies a vote, that makes it valid. And whatever the majority say, that's what will automatically happen in that smart contract. But, you know, say you ratify a smart contract and you update like a resolver or whatever, a resolver address, and that resolver address has some sort of centralized component in it. Well, then you're creating a weak link. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's good to stay with the open, transparent systems, not the centralized stuff.
Yeah, man, totally. Like, not just because it's decentralized, it means it's safe. Like, this is great words. People need to like do their due diligence more and check what everything is, you know.
Yeah, this is why I love smart contracts that don't have admin and keys, or smart contracts that, you know, if whatever permissions that they have, like you just understand like what this, like it's all open, it's all transparent, and it's all 100%. And there just needs to be more of this. And what people need to recognize is that there's a lot of people who are doing this. There's a lot of builders who are building in this way, right? There's a lot of people that are creating Web3 tools that are like open source, or at least if they're not open source in the sense of the license, you can at least see all the code, right? You might not be able to legally copy that code and use it for a new project, but you can see all the code. And then you can validate that it does what it says that it's going to do. And, you know, there's like too many people that are putting trust into let it be an NFT project or a cryptocurrency or a platform. Like how many platforms came out and someone just like connected their wallet and lost everything, right? How many NFT projects have come out and, you know, people just like put all this money in and then they just like rugged and like went away. Like Master was just talking about the one blatant scam, you know, Master.eth early on the ENS updates call, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of like, you know, cryptocurrency lost because people are just blindly putting their trust in the projects without doing any due diligence.
Yeah, some people are a little bit too eager to get into these projects and take a shot at these things. You know, a rug is just one thing, but like on the side story, I was so eager to get into a collection that I went and minted something off of one of my hot wallets, and I had a few things in a hot wallet I forgot to move. As soon as I clicked that mint button, I got swiped. So I got smacked, and it was painful, but it was a learning lesson. That's just one way of getting rugged. You have all these other ones that as you mentioned, they come and they go, and then when they come, they collect the cash, and then they head out with a bunch of false promises. And it's really easy to tell people what they want to hear. It's a lot different to execute. I think the best way to do it, I like the collections and the, you know, just projects that come out and they don't really make a lot of promises. It's like if they can do well without making a bunch of silly promises and then just slowly execute, that's the best approach right there. Usually when somebody has too much to say and everything is good, it's not going to turn out like that way. You know, when it sounds too good, it probably is, kind of thing. But I'm 100% with you. That's something I'm learning in this NFT space and all around. It's crazy, man, because I haven't been into crypto for like a lot of years, just a few years. And the amount of things that I've seen, like, you know, kind of rug or just hit the fan. It's like, wow, man. And some people put their life into this stuff. Like, I didn't have any Luna. And I remember people that I knew had Luna whenever that happened. And that was terrible. Like that was terrible to see happen. And then I even know somebody that sent a lot of their Ethereum over to Solana about a week before all this happened. And it's because they were like, oh, like, you know, the next run Solana is going to have like the percentage that it's going to have is a lot better. Like ETH might go up 3 or 4x, but Solana is going to go up 100x type deal. So then they said, I'm going to send a bunch of my, you know, ETH, which is more trusted and hasn't pulled anything like that on us yet. But they wanted to kind of risk it for the better return, which I get it. You know, people play that game. I jokingly bag on Solana all day long, and my buddies get mad at me. They're like, "You're such a maxi," and I'm like, "It is what it is." Like I'm always throwing around and I get it if people do have Solana.
What do they say when like Solana blockchain like restarts or like it just crashes for a few hours, or they like take the admin keys and they relaunch the network?
It doesn't go that far. It's usually just the returns.
I get server restart. It's just a server restart.
Yeah, that's just
lost 8 hours of blockchain data.
They're like, it's the same thing as ETH. Just they traded, like, you know, it's more of a centralized, and companies are going to want to use like a centralized thing. They say some things that almost make sense to me, but I'm like, it's just too much for me to even think about. So I stick to my guns, and then they'll send a little chart of ETH back when it was, you know, $100 and show how it ripped. And then they're like, look at Solana now, like the chart is the same. I'm like, man, people can draw lines all day, and I'm not against technical analysis, but I don't do that stuff. Some people can do it and they're decent at it and they're right. And then someone like me, I just don't like to play with it because I've played with this stuff before. I could show you my trading account before I got into NFTs and before I started buying and holding. And I'll tell you what, it's negative, you know, 5 figures. It's not
trading is bad.
I learned, and even though you don't realize how much you're losing when you're doing it, or you might get a win here and there, I get that email that still says, hey, from last year, here's your total return on this account, and it's negative so-and-so. And every day I have to look at that. I'm like, man, what was I doing? And it was a learning lesson though. So I get it, but I don't bounce around a whole lot, and I might be a maxi and things like that. But I just like to stick with what I know, kind of, and I'm open to learning new stuff. But again, when something sounds too good, it usually is. And then I'm just at the point now to where I feel like I found like the good things to focus on and put my energy into, put money into. And I'm limited on my resources too. So I got to kind of play it smart. I'm not trying to box myself in, but I'd rather do it with something that I feel right about and I'm like certain on, and take a chance at like a less of a return, or maybe I don't get a 100x like in the next year and stuff like that. Because you know what, 100x, it is crypto, but that still sounds a little bit too good to be true. It does happen sometimes, don't get me wrong, but again, usually when it sounds too good, something's fishy in the air, and I've been trying to avoid that more and more.
The point is, like, people don't do their research, right? And so this isn't like, I don't want to get into like a lot of financial stuff. I'm okay like going over markets and stuff. I want to be like stay away from the financial stuff and like, you know, promoting like anything like really. But people, no matter what it is, let it be an NFT project or a cryptocurrency or whatever, maybe like a timeshare investment, right? People don't do their research, and you know, they just jump right in because high risk, high reward. And maybe it's like, ever go to a casino? I went to a casino once and I had like $100 in my pocket. I was a kid. I had like no money. I was rich. I had $100. I walked in the casino. I put like whatever. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was $1 or $5. Like, it was the first slot machine I saw. Like, there's like right there was like, you don't even walk in the door. There's like, first put my money. It was like, it was like $100 or $500. I was like, cool. The rest of the night is free. And I walked out with like $0.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Whenever you get a win like that, it's supposed to play with the house money, but sometimes it's hard to know that until you get to be
It was a good
experienced.
night. It was a good night.
Now that's awesome. A funny story. I've never been to a casino. I've never like gone and gambled. The
Yeah,
most
don't
I've
do it.
done.
I mean, generally speaking, I mean, no, you could do it. I mean, depends what kind of your personality you got. If you got, but I mean, you know, if you're gonna go and be like, hey, I'm gonna purposely like lose this money, but yeah, it's just you got to know yourself.
Yeah, no,
It's a lot of fun.
I'm yet to do so. I've done a few, like a birthday scratch off ticket, and then there is this little place I like to go sometimes. It's called Open Sea, but that's about the farthest I go into the casino.
Anyone else ever been to a casino?
Oh yeah, I've been.
Yo, definitely, man. I'm a gambler, Chan, by the way. And listen, to what
So we
Clayman
should go
was
with
saying,
you, or we shouldn't go with you.
what,
Probably
I don't
should.
know, man. You shouldn't. You probably shouldn't. But to what Clayman was saying, I'm definitely not a maxi. But like, if I see, man, a network breaking down whenever there's too much traction on it, I don't want to be in that. I'm not gonna like it or enjoy it or invest in it for the long run. I might day trade it, but that's about it. And yeah, about casinos, I'm gonna come back to that later. But I think NFT Verse has a cool story to share, and I really want to hear it.
You would think I got a good story to share about casinos. No, I've dabbled in casinos before, and in Vegas, I like playing, roulette table, a little bit of blackjack, some slots sometimes, and but the thing is that they get you on emotion, right? They pull you in based on your emotion. They let you win a couple of times, and you feel like you're on top of the world. And then before you know it, they've taken back everything that you put in, and then now you're trying to go get more money out, thinking you're going to win it back. And they just keep reeling you in like that. And I think that that's the thing about crypto too, and certain NFT projects is that everybody gets emotional about it. You get emotionally attached to it, and it keeps drawing you in. It's almost like a drug, right? It continues. You get an addiction, that you get a certain type of high when you can get on. When some people know they can get on a white list, right? They feel, I got whitelisted. I'm on the white list, and it's just something that's emotionally attached in this whole entire ecosystem that makes people feel that they're getting something before everybody else, right? And when you feel that way, you go all in. And some people go all in without doing any research, without doing any due diligence, without even understanding what the smart contract says. Who are the devs behind it? What have they done before? There's so many things that you need to ask, because I've been part of projects like that where the devs will be all engaged at one point, and then the next point one of them got mad at each other and the whole project crashed and burned. They're like, where the devs at? The devs are gone. Like, where's our money at? Everybody's screaming like it's done. It's a done deal. So that's one of the things that I think crypto Twitter and has a huge problem with, is that there's so many people that are emotionally attached to things, and that can sometimes breed a bad environment for everything that is crypto. And hopefully some of the emotional ones will maybe decide this journey is not for them, and we can get some of the emotional ones out, and we can kind of stick with the people who are here, for the long haul, and be able to focus a little bit more on the goal.
Um, I think and nothing that has to do with trading or gambling or whatever it is. It's good without the emotional people, because this is the name of the game. But like, if I were to give an advice, it wouldn't be not to be emotional. It would be, and I'm like I'm definitely with you, verse. Like definitely not be emotional, but it would be don't try to catch your losses. Don't try to say, "Oh, I lost this. I wanna make it up." This is how people usually get wrecked and whatever trading they're doing, trying to cover the losses they got. But I think uh, trading is more similar to gambling than NFTs. Trading, I mean crypto and day trading, because NFTs are we're still in the very young ages of NFTs. There's still a lot that people and founders are still learning and trying to do, and uh, the way it is now, it isn't sustainable. It's gonna grow much more and maybe become actually something we can say, yeah, we're trading NFTs. But right now, you're not trading NFTs. The most we are doing is minting something, selling it pre-reveal, and if I really like it, I would buy it after it dumps to hell. That isn't trading
Like
in
musical
in my
chairs.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a random question while we're talking about NFTs, and not to go too far off. We're all big into the ENS here, which by the way, first you gotta throw the .eth on your name next time. Uh,
Yeah,
You can
bro.
update it.
Definitely got to do that.
You can
yeah,
update it, can't you? No.
I don't know if you could change it in here now. You might be able to,
I don't know if I can edit it. I'll try.
but so we of course we get attached to our ENS because it's your digital identity, and this thing is like it's powerful. I know Gary has an ape, and I'd like to think he might at this point. The question for the room: do you guys have any JPEG NFTs that you're like actually kind of attached to? You're like, man, I don't know if I can like get rid of this, or there's always a right price, but I'm like, are you attached to
All
any of these?
5,000 of them. All 5,000 of them.
I
Every single domain name, thousands of domain names. Not one of them I want to get rid of. All of them.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Gway, that of course, it's my passion, for the ENS cat, right? So, I minted, about 20, I want to say it was about 24 of those cats.
My wife got one.
Yeah, she has one. Yeah, for people in the community early on. Like I said, actually today is the 7-month anniversary of that PFP
Hey,
that you see right there for the ENS cat. It's the 7th month anniversary, right, or birthday or whatever you want to call it. So I hold about 13 of those that I minted, and I'm holding myself, and it's hard to, it's going to be hard to part with those, right? Because they have a certain
sentimental value.
Yeah, man. I mean, I drew that cat because I wanted to give ENS and .eth a face, right? So, when I did that back in April, you know, um, I like I said, I did some for the community, and I have about 13 of them, and I don't know how I can part with them. I know that at some point somebody's going to come along and they're going to want one of those 13 that I hold, and it's going to be tough to give it up, man. It's definitely going to be tough. But those are the PFPs that I hold currently close to me, because
They're
it's
historic, bro.
it's my own creation. So it's tough.
Yeah, those came out before Threadgirl even made the ENS Maxis, so that's what I mean. It's history right there. But aside from the cats, like, is there anything you might be attached to?
Wait, what? What? I have a
Yep.
cat, by the way, Grayman. Come on, bro.
There's one in my house too. The Gray House has one.
I know, I know.
Yeah,
Damn, FOMO, I gotta find one of these cats. What are these cats?
it's but besides that, it's got to be my domains, right? It's got to be my .eth domains. Those I have a few that I feel that are super good, that I plan on holding on to, just kind of watching the market. I mean, those are the ones that I kind of strategized to make sure that I was able to extend. And when I registered them, I registered them for a purpose, right? Because I knew they had a wide range, wide use case, right? A wide range use case. So, RSVPs. .eth, that's one that I really want to hold on to because it has a pretty wide range use
You have
case.
it with the S? You have RSVPs?
Yeah, I had that. Yep.
Okay. My
Yeah.
buddy bought RSVP.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that, man.
That's what's
So
up.
they were talking about that. Yeah, so I hold the plural version of that, which is pretty big for me, to hold that. And then I have the EU. And the reason why I mentioned the EU.eth is because you can't have a EU.eth alone, because that's two letters. So the closest thing to the European Union being minted as a .eth name, without spelling out the whole entire European Union, is the EU, and they utilize that, and that's how they usually say the European Union is the EU. They reference it as the EU, the European Union. So that's one, and then my other one is the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. That's .eth. That's the other one. So.
Yeah, you got some good ones, bro. I didn't realize that. I haven't really checked your wallets. Um, what about the rest of the room, real quick? You guys got any JPEGs that you're connected
Wait,
to?
man, let me tell you something. For the right price, I'll sell the banana.
You sell the banana seal? I just picked me and the wife up matching seals. I had to do it. Early Christmas. What about you, 184?
I've probably only taken interest in one. If we exclude everything that's new ENS in the last year, because there's a lot of great projects, and I'll take them out of the equation. I have there's one JPEG project that I participated in because I liked the project, and they were also secondary sales were going towards trees and environment and things like that. That project's not doing anything, but the team is still delivering little knickknacks and things. I've got some 3D printed items that are being sent in the mail long after that project's had any sales. I'd sell that stuff, but I'd keep participating in some way. The only JPEG I'd hold on to is V1 CryptoPunk 3041, which was a gift, and it's become my avatar. And I also think that when you receive a gift, it's nice to hold on to it. So, yeah.
No, that's very cool of you. I was gifted a thing or two back before I had really any liquid or anything worth anything, and the buddy that gifted it to me said he wanted me to liquidate it. So I was able to, I liquidated a thing or two. But I'll answer mine really quick. I don't have anything I'm too attached to. For me personally, pretty much everything has a price. I put myself in a pickle, though, because I bought kind of a rarish goop for a good amount of ETH at the time. And then I went and got it printed on a blanket, and I sleep with that blanket every night. And I have an attachment to it. I feel like I can't sell it because I'm going to look at this blanket and then be like, well, man, that's not mine no more. So I feel like I forced myself to have to keep it. What about you, Gary?
I mean, if I had to pick one, I would pick the ape, just because the ape is like the ticket into whatever they end up doing in the future. And like they purchase so many projects, and they have so much backing, they have so much community support, and they're like such like a like a strong staple in the community now with what's going to be happening. Yeah, I like my club membership with the ape, and then I guess I also like you, even though the restaurant hasn't opened yet. I guess I also probably would not sell my Flyfish NFT. I don't know if you guys know about Flyfish, but that's a Gary V. Vayner VCR group project with basically Gary V is one of the four owners of Fly Fish Club, and basically there's like 3,000 NFTs, and 400 of them are what you would call rare, and the other 2,600 or so are common. And having this NFT, basically you can get to real life events, you can get to digital events, which I find enjoyable. There's like wine tastings, which are actually really fun, virtually wine tastings, where you purchase the wine and you're in this like Zoom, and it's like a lot of fun with like other club members. And then there's like digitally there's like cooking classes, and those are like really fun to do with like my kids or my wife, with other Fly Fish members. And there's like real life events, and I'm also a VFriend holder, so there's usually a party, like a Fly Fish party at VCon. There's like real life events on boats and like around places, Miami and New York and wherever. And they just picked, you should go check it out at the Fly Fish website or on the Twitter page. You can check out the latest like announcement video. They just showed the location in New York City, in what do you call it, in like the southern part of New York City, in Manhattan. Not the touristy area. And it's a beautiful building. They got 3 stories, and if you have any of the NFTs, then that's membership. That's the only way. You have to have the NFT to get into the restaurant. And it's like, without getting into it, it's going to be possible to me to make money by leasing my NFT for 30-day periods. So I won't be able to use it for that month, but if I'm not going to use it, I can lease it out. But you have to have the NFT to get into the restaurant. And if you have any of the 3,000 NFTs, you can get into the restaurant, or you can get into the bar. But there's going to be a third room, which is going to be the omakase room. And the omakase room, you have to have one of the 400 rare tokens to get into that.
That sounds really cool. See, oh, my bad, Thread. I'll let you go. That sounds really cool, and I like it because the ones that you're connected to, you have good reasonings. My reason, you guys heard it, is because I put it on a blanket, and I feel obligated because I'm not going to burn the blanket. It's a cool blanket, and I don't want to FOMO into it. I'm just like, man, I can't believe I got rid of that. But no, that makes sense. And the thing is, too, you got a connection to these things because you're actually getting something out of them, and that's what I love to hear, because that's something that as I continue this NFT journey, I want more things that bring me like actual value, like even a cooking class with your family like that. Like those are things that it provides something aside from a floor price, aside from cool art. I do enjoy the good art, but like let's be honest, it doesn't have anything compared to some real life utility. So that's really cool. And then I like what you said about the ape. I'm sure you probably don't even care about the floor price. I know you've mentioned once or twice you purchased your ape at 0.4, which one day I'm going to get it out of you. I just want to have a talk about what it was like back at 0.4 and what made you feel like that was the right move, because I think people that are unfamiliar with the space or still new and learning.
It was hard. It was expensive for me.
Yeah, that's why it's expensive. Even myself, I'm like, man, 0.4 for something, like, you got to have faith in it. And then like nobody knows where it's going to go. So I think it'd be cool to have a backstory on that, since we're so like connected with you and you're open to sharing things. But the Bored Ape entry is something I've been considering, and the apes are way out of my league. The mutants are way out of my league. But that land has kind of come down to reachable territory. And I'm kind of trying to think about, I've been wondering, because I'm like, man, it's kind of, I just want the ticket to be involved. But like, I still, land itself in certain things, I'm like, But again, we had a talk the other week about betting on the winners and the people behind it. And I'm like, it might, it's something I've been considering, but I haven't made a move yet.
You'll definitely get a foot in new labs, in my opinion. However, that step can be. I'm very much contemplating getting a mutant, because like it's getting to affordable prices a bit. So I don't know, but yeah, for real though. I got robbed earlier. The things that I would never sell, definitely I got some one-on-ones. Some artists made me some cool NFTs. Those are like personal. And ENS cat, man, like this is mine, you know. I told NFTverse I wanted this color, I want this to be written on the chain, so I would never sell it, and I would never ever sell my seal. And I got my seal like not
Never ever on the seal. Never ever.
never. Yeah. I got it very recently, and because I feel like I enjoy memes a lot, I enjoy shit posting a lot, and I feel that I connected with this community
Oh,
of shit
you
posting.
fit the seals perfect. I'm not trying to
Right,
talk too much on the
right.
seals. I
Yeah.
don't want it to turn into that, but no, you fit them perfect. I purchased two, one for the wife, one for myself, but um, I haven't like announced it up until like now. Like a few of my friends know, but I haven't posted or anything like that. I just kind of
Well,
got them.
you want to see the engagement you will get when you announcement, man. It's euphoric for me.
They're a
But
wild crowd. I'll say that they're a wild crowd.
yeah. I would never sell it, to be honest. And it's a strong community. It stood well during the bear market. Trust me. After I bought mine, I never, not once, checked on the floor price. I couldn't. I
It's
don't
point
give a
five.
shit. Why did you tell me that? Okay, I bought mine above floor, by the way, but floor was 0.43 maybe at that time. And yeah, it's like a good community. If you were to tell me 2 years ago, I'm gonna buy a fucking profile picture of a seal for $1,000 and then keep it because of the community, I would have laughed in your face for real. Because when I started trading NFTs, I didn't hold anything at all. I used to get in, get in, get out as fast as I could. And it was a great strategy for me until I realized, man, I have no identity in the NFT space, and I need to work on that. And yeah, having an identity, like we're talking all day long about having your digital identity. I could change my PFP a million times, but people are gonna still recognize me as threadgirl.eth. But
Dot
also having a PFP that people recognize, like let's not underrate that, because it's belonging to a certain community, it's belonging to a certain crowd, and it gives you an identity. Grayman, what you said, the seal fits me perfectly. Why?
it
Because
does.
I like to make memes. I like to shit post a bit, right? Gary's ape fits him perfectly, man.
It
I
does.
cannot
I
see
see the
someone.
ape and I think Gary. That's just it. Like I don't even need to know the name. I was flipping through the Constitution the other day to find him, and I was just looking for his ape. I said, I bet you he has a picture in here, and it was the ape. And that's just it. He's kind of tied himself to it, which is good. It's showing that you yourself, based off your actions, you can literally build a brand, whether it's off your name or off an image or both. I do see strength in it being both. That's where I messed up a few times. I've bounced. I kind of have a PFP for like a couple months, grow some. I've had like one tweet go viral or an incident go viral. Oh yeah, look at that. Yep. See, so you can't have it go
Damn.
nowhere. I see Bashar on there. I pick on Bashar all the time because he always shows me that picture, and I just laugh at him because he has some monkey blowing a bubble, and it's just some project that got rugged. I call him a bubble monkey. but so so yeah, that's just it though. Sticking to it, it definitely does. You get to like literally build a brand off your thing, and I like have a crazy event go down while I'm this PFP, and then I'll change it, and then people kind of don't recognize me, like as far as like the past event or like the screenshots that went around, and then something else happens, and then I leave from that PFP to where I remember when I first did buy a seal, I had a goop. I ended up selling the seal up and I'm back in. I had a goop and I jumped into the seal chat and I just said ARF, but I was still my goop PFP, and they were like, "Yo, aren't you the guy that like rug Franklin?" And I'm like, "No, that wasn't me. Like I got involved in the situation, but they recognized the goop." And then yeah, I've had a few people kind of tell me like I shouldn't be changing my PFP and things like that. But I've been trying to find the sweet spot for what I feel like represents me. And I also like things that stand out to where like once you see it, like, okay, that's Guayman. Because it's been a few different things. And then the one thing was like my first PFP that a lot of people knew me for was like a crypto cannabis club toker. And then I was like, man, this ain't that professional. And then I kind of stopped partaking in certain things that club represents. And I was like, yeah, you know what, man, maybe I can like, I'm not going to like rep something like, I just want to find something that fits me more now. And then I rep the Goops. I rep the Goops because they were super cheap and just cool art. And I wanted to like rock like PFPs that aren't expensive to show people like you don't need an expensive PFP to have good engagement or to like almost like, make a name for yourself out here. So I was rocking with the Goops. I did leave the Goops. I still love the art and I won't sell my Goop. But the team kind of ran into some issues with the funding and the tax liabilities and just a few things that's like I don't want to rock it and have a new person like, oh, let me go buy a Goop. These things are cheap and cool because like I think there's a very good chance that they run into issues. And I don't want anybody to like follow down that path to like go and buy something if they don't know the story behind the team. And I found out some things and they announced it and they're kind of in some trouble. So I said, you know what, like I hate to change my PFP, but I don't want to like represent a project that might end up, being harmful to a new holder or something. So I was just trying to think of something like that. So I switched it again. And now I got the frogs. I got a fierce frog.
Thoughtful of you.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's just it. I didn't want to switch my thing up, and people were like, oh, you keep switching. And that's really what it came down to. I said, man, I don't want somebody to go and buy it because they like the art or they see me rocking it. And then they don't know that these guys like kind of messed up a lot of things. And then they end up just wasting their money. So
you know what I say, Guayman, is like, think about all the companies out there that have done a company rebrand.
Yeah.
They changed the logo. They changed the color. And
look at Meta.
With the Mandela effect, it's like maybe a different universe. It's this way. And one universe, it's that way.
Yeah.
But what they don't change is the name.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it.
The name is what doesn't change, right?
Up until Facebook, which was a crazy change in my opinion, but I see what
not because there's precedent though, because other companies have done that, such as Google, right? Google got so big. There's Google X, there's YouTube, there's Chrome, there's Nest, right? Nest, thermostat on the wall. There's
that's crazy.
The robot part of the company, which I think they bought Boston Dynamics, and so yeah, they changed their name to Alphabet.
Oh yeah. That's true.
A company called Google. They just made another company called Alphabet that owns all these other companies, and so there's still a company called Facebook. Just Facebook said like Facebook is like Facebook. It's WhatsApp. It's Instagram. It's OpenInternet.org. It's like all these different things, and they said, hey, we got to have a new company name to like. They have Oculus. Oculus. We got to have a new company name to call this something. And so they were like, okay, this new like alpha company, parent umbrella corp is going to be called Meta. So that's how that goes, right? So that's like a big, that's a good example of a brand name change for a strategic, reason because they got so big.
No, yeah, that makes sense. So now I'm a frog with the Spartan helmet. But the thing is, like I said, I like something that stands out. So just know if you ever see a frog with a Spartan helmet, I'm the only red one out of all 10,000. So I'm the red frog with the Spartan helmet. You can't miss me.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool, Gway. hey guys. Thank you, Gary. I gotta run, man. But I appreciate you inviting me to the Minted Coins, right? Minted Coins show, man. It was awesome. I definitely got to come back. Great conversation. Love the conversation. Shout out to 184. Shout out to Gway. Shout out to Thread Girl. Appreciate all of you guys, man. Good conversation. I had a good time, man. So Gary, I'll definitely have to come back, man.
Yeah, we didn't even get into the hardcore, heavy hitting stuff of the New York.
My apologies.
Guayman, you totally diverted this entire show.
Oh yeah, I went NFT talk tonight.
This was fun. This was fun.
No, yeah, totally fun. There was this whole like other section which maybe we'll get into after verse drops. and hopefully Thread Girl comes back because I would love to hear her rant about it too. But no, I think these shows, I mean, just speaking for myself, these shows are a lot of fun. I get to talk and chat with other people who I know and like about ENS and Web3, which is cool. And we get to, go over stories, and we get to, have the visuals, and we get, we have the video connection maybe, and we have, the screen share. And so, yeah, I'm getting into the groove of it and helping other people get into the groove of it. And I think it's going to be a really powerful medium. Like right now, think about it. So few people are here. Oh, we lost him. He was like, no speech, Gary. I got to go. He's like, no, really. I got to go.
No, I like what you're getting into though.
So Kimba says the PFP fits you really well, Guemo.
Oh well, thank you, Kimba. Thank you. She's doxed on YouTube. I like that. She got the PFP on. She like the actual selfie.
Yeah, it's a lot of websites out there that changed it everywhere. When we have the Web3 thing, people use the ENS.
It'll just track your avatar for everywhere. So, quick question. You brought up the screen sharing. I never clicked it. Is that what this present button does? If I hit present, it shows my screen?
It should, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. At least now I know.
I mean, it would probably put you into the green room. And then I haven't had anybody else want to share their screen yet. Most people are really cautious.
No, that makes sense. I'd share mine if I had to, or if I had something to share.
Yeah. And you can present a PowerPoint too, so you can prepare, like a deck or some sort of present. What? We're losing everybody. Man, people are dropping like flies. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll see what's going on. Okay, so we got Thread Girl coming back. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Yeah, man. When he was talking about the cool PFPs, I was hoping you're going to say you're punk. I was hoping you were say you weren't going to get rid of your punk.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I mean, it's a gift, and it was worth something. It's worth something now, but it was worth something at the time it was given to me. It had a nice little run, and it's like ENS. If you believe in something, and I believe this has value in years to come, why sell it? If you can manage the other side of things, there's no reason to sell it. It's a peaceful existence when you're happy with what you have. That's why anyone that has an ENS name that they really dig, that they've actually made their identity, can't be anything but happy for them.
Kick me out.
You must have pushed the wrong button.
I was talking too much.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thread Girl's having a bad connection. She's trying to get back in here too. Yeah, no, it's cool. And it's a club too. If I had the extra, funds, which would be a lot of funds, I would definitely enjoy having a CryptoPunk in terms of the membership of the club and the camaraderie of that group of people, which still exists. Yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways, in the apocalypse, I think in the apocalypse, I would value a CryptoPunk more. And if there's not, hey,
whoa, what?
But does the mic work? Camera works. Can she hear us? Can you hear us? Nod your head if you can hear us.
She's probably got to fix the audio.
She must know that she's on camera. Oh,
she got to go fix the audio. She'll be back.
2 hours in, and that's what we get. So with tying CryptoPunks and ENS sort of together, my vision, and it's the same with I'm having a mind blank. It's 3:50 in the morning right now, and I'm fading. My view is that there'll be a time in years to come where ENS, someone will offer to trade. Someone will say, "Hey, I'd like to trade one of your ENS for my BAYC," and I'll say, "Okay, let's do a deal."
Can Thread Girl hear us? Nod your head if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you
okay.
now. I'm on my phone. This is why I have a cam now. But
Oh,
so,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So so if you guys want, we can talk about the stable coin stuff.
I got about 30 to 30 minutes to talk about whatever we want to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and Thread Girl, you can always like if it's too small to see on your screen, you can always pop in with your computer too to have a bigger screen, and then mute the computer. It's always possible. It's basically like a Zoom call. We can have up to 10 people on the call, which is pretty cool.
Should have like a Thanksgiving party in here.
Yeah, I really want to do all sorts of stuff. So if you guys want to jam with me in the back channels, in the DMs, or like have some one-on-ones or some private Zooms, totally down with talking about like what we can do and this whole like YouTube visual and the spectrum of thing for Web3 and ENS. But yeah, so let's get to it. So the block is reporting. A lot of places are reporting. The New York Fed, there are several. So the Federal Reserve is like quote unquote decentralized. You guys know how this works. The Federal Reserve is decentralized. There's like 12 different Federal Reserves. And then there's like a main supreme leader who gets appointed by the president. And then they all like come to a consensus about like things to do, even though there's like a main guy leading it. The New York Fed is the main one. And small trivia fact, every dollar in the world that ever gets transferred from anywhere to anywhere, no matter where the two people are, every dollar, like if you're in Lebanon and you transfer a US dollar to someone in Lebanon, then that dollar passes through the New York Fed. Interesting, huh? So let's get to it. The New York Fed is leading banks. Redo. So the New York Fed and leading banks, they're starting to regulate. What the hell am I reading? Is this what I want? All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to try to read this one more time. The New York Fed and leading banks start regulated liability network pilot. I think they updated this title. I don't think that's what it said before.
Redo again.
Yeah, they updated the title. So the New York Federal Reserve and a group of private banking firms are developing a distributed ledger technology-based network of digital liabilities. The proof of concept will use simulated data. This is going to be programmable. It's going to be a 12-week pilot. It's going to be programmable infrastructure, which is very scary. It's going to containing digital representations of the central bank, commercial bank, regulated non-bank issuer liabilities. All of these denominated in U.S. dollars. It's a USDF consortium trade group. And so we're talking tokenizing deposits. This is a quote: tokenizing deposits and other regulated liabilities, which can bring blockchain innovation into the real economy while maintaining numerous protections afforded by banking regulation, i.e. invasion of privacy and, controlling the accounts, shutting down the accounts, putting in programmable regulations. But anyway, this will ensuring that banks can continue to provide access to credit. So using blockchain technology that's regulated, so banks can provide access to dollars and credit. And this is all coming from the CEO, Rob Morgan, I think of the USDC consortium. And he goes on to say that this can help lower cost of payments, ensuring that obviously this like lowers cost of payments. And it can also create efficiencies that can lower credit. Yeah, so we know that blockchain technology makes everything essentially way faster and way cheaper. Some of the partners in this digital dollar, this is a digital dollar, so this is a legal term. So I don't know like how much experience you guys have had with the police in any capacity. I don't want to like get into anything on your criminal record, but the digital dollar is a legal term, just so you know. And some of these partners, BNY Mellon, Citigroup, major bank, HSBC Holdings, Mastercard, PNC Bank, TD Bank, Truist, US Bank, and Wells Fargo and Co. And all of this being held together with the international payment system SWIFT, which is providing the interoperable infrastructure for the distributed ledger technology. Crazy stuff, huh?
Yeah, that's something. And I even seen something today. It's a little bit off topic, but it's kind of on the same topic. I want to read like the exact tweet if I can. It
Yeah.
was it was Watcher Guru. They tweeted. They said, just in, Mastercard, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and others launch a 12-week experimental digital dollar pilot with the New York Fed. So I guess that is actually like right on the same topic. But yeah, so this is getting it's getting news, and it seems to be something that I don't know. It kind of, is this that CBDC that
Yep. Central bank digital currency.
yes. So pretty much I don't know, that's not that good for say BTC and ETH. Is it? Like what do you guys think about that?
It's not good for humanity. I'm going to go on the extreme of this. I mean, you can always say some use is good use, but in this case, I think it's absolutely terrible. So why do I want a programmable currency where the programmability becomes you can't sell your, I sell fish. You can't sell your fish to this person, they're blacklisted, or this person cannot buy from you, or this is the price of fish that you must sell at. You cannot do more. Capital controls like that are not very good, in my opinion. And I don't think there's a way to trial this and then scale it down. You will only scale it up. And it becomes a society that has non-free markets. You don't, the money is not yours. The cash is not yours. You're not able to save. The restrictions that exist are not good. So I'm on that extreme that I think most people are. It's not a good thing, and I can't see the trade-off of it's great that they're tinkering with blockchain as being a worthwhile trade-off. Net negative by a landslide.
No, that makes sense to me, because yeah, that was gonna be my counter argument, and not that I disagree with you at all, but it's just something that like trying to see like some light in it in a way, but you kind of cleared it up at the end.
Some light in it potentially you could say is that I mean dollars are going to exist, and I think even though the old me would probably disagree more, it does seem that there is a massive demand for crypto native dollars, right? Like a stable dollar, a stable coin. And if you're more of the cypherpunk philosophy, if you're more of like the Web3 philosophy, then you might favor a stable coin like MakerDAO, XDAI, or a DAI, because it's an algorithmic coin. It still has some levels of centralization, and it still has like some levels of risk, but I would say, if I'm a cypherpunk perspective, less than USDC, for example. But there is this demand for a crypto dollar, and with a crypto dollar, the thing about a crypto dollar is that generally, I mean, you could program it to be otherwise, but generally speaking, you can take that crypto dollar. You can buy with it. You can buy cryptocurrency,
So
like Ethereum. You can buy cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. And something that, I don't know if you guys know who Andreas Antonopoulos is. He's this OG cypherpunk cryptocurrency, coder, blockchain engineer, blockchain expert, probably like masters in cryptography and stuff.
And if I can jump in, and a master storyteller as well. Like his onboarding of people, allowing them to understand that Bitcoin is infrastructure and things like that. Master storyteller. So anyone beginning their journey, send them to his old YouTube videos. They still hold up.
Yeah, really, really good videos, really, really good storytelling. Every single one of his videos, for the most part, maybe with some light exceptions, like still holds up in terms of teaching people, because he is like hardcore cypherpunk, talking about, governments to go fuck themselves, and, what are we going to do when the government hacks? Like, what are we going to do when the government takes every nuclear power plant in the country and 51% attacks Bitcoin? And he's like, yeah, it's like they're going to just like fuck themselves and waste all their time, and we're just going to do this, this, and this, just there's really, really good stories. The point in that was something. The point in that, where were we going with that? Fucking Andreas Antonopoulos. It's just about so just like not knowing what I was trying to say. It's about having the open, immutable, smart contracts, and just leveraging the technology that gives you the access to make the decisions that you can control. You like preventing the middlemen from having access to the keys, because essentially it's not your keys, not your crypto. And so I was saying something about the need for a stable coin, and you can take this to, that's what I want to say. One of the things that Andreas Antonopoulos used to say a lot, because people would ask him, what if the government just completely makes Bitcoin illegal? And he was saying that the government won't make Bitcoin 100% illegal, because some of the people that need access to the Bitcoin are the people in the government, right? The corrupt people who are in the government, the corrupt people who are part of these centralized companies, right? Like Sam Bankman-Fried, like FTX. In order for them to have committed the fraud that they wanted to commit, in order for them to get their money, they needed to exit in crypto, right? And so if the government says, hey, all of Bitcoin is illegal and nobody can have Bitcoin, then when they want to exit the fiat system, no matter what country they're in, I'm not talking about America here per se, but when they want to exit their fiat system with all their corruptness from, all the things that they did or didn't do, they want Bitcoin to be legal enough for them to get their shit out of Dodge. And so that's why they need a stable coin. That's why a stable coin could be good. But for normal people, if you just get stuck in a stable coin life, if you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you're listening, if you get stuck in a lightning side chain, and you can never get enough to get out of that side chain, if you get stuck in a stable coin and you can never save enough because saving is illegal, or saving is programmatically impossible, or you got or something happens where the stable coin is connected to a social credit score, or your stable coin is connected to a global digital health passport, which we're getting into shit that we should be talking about at the private member show, right? When we talk about a global digital passport, which I'm telling you will happen, right?
Save the juicy stuff.
What's that?
We got to save some of the juicy stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, not just save it for the juicy stuff for the show, but we literally can't talk about it here because we'll get the channel canceled and demonetized and stuff like that.
Right. I'm with you though, and that's where I see the point to both 184 and your what you guys have to say on it. And I agree. I think like 184 said, once it starts, it's not going to stop. It's not going to slow down. It's just going to get worse. I do think that some people think that the digital dollars, the digital currency is kind of still all like a sham, and they don't get involved at all. The CBDCs will make them get involved, without them wanting to or not. And maybe 10% of the people that are forced into it after a while go, man, I don't like this. Maybe I should oh crap, BTC is a thing, things like that, where they're maybe I can control this myself. But at that point, maybe I don't want to say it's too late. It's not like a doomsday guy, because I think 184 kind of hit it on the head. So I was trying to see some light in it, but he also made a very good point to where I said, nah, he's right. So it's definitely not good, and it feels inevitable. But maybe we're in that time right now to where you still have a chance to kind of make a way for yourself to be a sovereign individual, which is kind of what I think a lot of us are trying to do, and some people have already successfully done. But it's definitely getting crazy, man. I'm wondering how long until just no more paper dollars, no more coins. You guys remember that coin shortage that went on? Where did the coins go? That's my thing. How is there a shortage?
Yeah, that's a whole bag of chips, man. That coin shortage, multiple coin shortages, that's a whole bag of chips. You can Google they want to make high denomination currency illegal. So if you were to Google a $100 bill, outlawing $100 US dollar bill, you'll find reputable people talking about the case for like the $500 Indian rupee or the $100 US Benjamin to be like no longer legal, because they want lower and lower amounts of cash and capital. And they do want the digital economy because of the ease of tracking, because of the ease of use, because of the tax tracking, because of the programmability. Yeah, I mean, I could be a lot stronger, a lot harsher with my words, but I'm trying to like,
Nah,
not get too harsh, too deep. What do you think, Thread Girl?
I'm picking
Yeah.
up.
You guys know we're not talking about my favorite subject, and I'm just sitting here listening, right? I have a lot of shit to say. And okay, first of all, there are always going to be people that rely on the banks or are too late. I'm sorry, they are too fucking lazy to take care of their own business. They want other people to manage things for them. And those people tend to go for mommy and daddy government and mommy and daddy banking system to take care of everything for them, right? But the thing is, man, like, I don't want to repeat myself, but if you haven't been in trouble because of the banking system, and if you haven't got screwed yourself by the banking system and got your safety net removed from you by force by the banking system, like, don't let this happen. We have a chance here to build our own safety net. Rely however you want, fucking rely on banks, but build that safety net so in case something happens, you have something to fall back on, right? So you don't fall on the fucking floor. But man, this, like, governments won't let anything be unregulated. They won't let anything be unwatched by them, unsupervised by them. They want to be in control of everything. And this is their way to be in control of everything. The question is, are we going to let them do it and like stay silent about it and do nothing? Or are we going to be active fighters against this this shit show for real? Digital dollar. What the fuck is this shit? Like, I don't know, man. I finished my rant for now. I will continue in a second.
Well, it's happening. In this other article here, New York Fed completes experiment using on-chain digital dollar. Again, digital dollar being a legal phrase that's inside the bills that are circulating through Congress for legislation, for law. What is a digital dollar? What is a digital wallet? What is a digital USD? These things are being thought of and are being detailed and are being laid out and are like put into like law, right? It's like United States law, which its arm is kind of like long and kind of stretches around the world. So they're using digital dollars for complex foreign exchange transactions instead of like if you guys knew how money transferred around the world right now, I think the average person would be shocked. It's like we're using like 1980s and 1970s technology to transfer all these different currencies around the world. And so using this blockchain technology, they were able to bring it down to an average of 2 days, from 2 days to send the money around the world to 15 seconds. They're stating that promising applications of blockchain technology, it sounds scary when they say it like that, when it comes out of their mouth. Modernizing critical payments infrastructure, which honestly is something that is needed, although it's not like they're just going to modernize critical payment structure. They're going to do it in a way that gives them a lot of surveillance. And if we're paying attention to this, then we can, act just like Kimba saying, we could be active fighters. We could be active fighters into, directing this policy and where this goes and how this is presented in law, right? Like, hopefully we could have some sort of say over how this goes and where this goes, because in their inaugural experiment, it's providing a strategic launch pad, right? This is just the beginning, is what they're saying, for further research and development regarding the future of money and payments from the United States perspective. Because keep in mind, this distributed ledger technology for these central bank cryptocurrencies, these are being experimented everywhere, from the United States to Russia to China to countries in South America, all across Europe. Everybody, both from a government perspective and a corporate perspective, is working on this.
In the Middle East, they are in Lebanon. Actually, they were talking about with some sort of digital currency, but like nobody trusts the government here. It's like zero trust. But I wanted to add one more thing. Sorry. It's that, first of all, they can rug you literally anytime. Okay. Second of all, let's start by saying, how can they rug you? They can rug you by saying you cannot transfer more than this amount of money or trade more than this amount of money per day. And we've seen this happen in real banks. Why not happen? Why it's not gonna happen in their digital dollars? Fuck, it's gonna happen. They can ban your account. They can ban you from sending money or receiving money from certain people or certain countries or whatever. So like I can't see how this would work on an international level. I can't see it happening, to be honest. Like, I know it will, but I don't see how the scenario is gonna be put in a way to tempt people to get into this, especially people who are already in Web3 right now. They've seen what happened in centralized exchanges. They know the value of decentralized. They know the value of owning and having their own assets, you know? So, yeah.
Digital dollars are coming. This is the launch pad of the future. They're learning about the programmability, the unique benefits that this technology provides. You know, we talked about, you know, it was like interesting because first it was just a bunch of renegades, and then it was a bunch of entrepreneurs, and then we got all this financial speculator type businesses, and then we got all this art. And during the whole background, right, we have the banks and the Federal Reserve who are, you know, creating the future, building the future. And this is going to have a lot of control over the lives of 8 billion people on this world, right? Because if you go somewhere, you're going to have to pull out your Fed wallet, and you're going to have to use your Fed coin for your Fed wallet, right? The Fed wallet to spend the digital dollar. And you know, in terms of infrastructure, I think this cuts out like regional banks, because right now we have the Federal Reserve, we have the national banks, and you know, you have a local branch in your city, and it might be a smaller bank. It might not be this giant corporate. You might not be doing banking at JP Morgan. It might be like a smaller, you know, regional bank. And you need those regional banks because there's supply chain distribution. You literally need to take like bags of cash, and bring them from one bank to another bank. And, you know, so it's like a local McDonald's, right? Every little regional bank is like a local McDonald's distributing like funds and loans and credit. And once we have these digital dollars, and, you know, transactions take 15 seconds instead of like, you know, 2 to 15 days, you can go directly from the Federal Reserve. You could potentially even cut out the national banks. You can go directly from the Federal Reserves. You can go directly from a government, and the government can print money. And instead of going from printing money to the Federal Reserve to the national bank to the regional bank to the person, it can go from the government printing and then right into your wallet, right? Or just managed through like one organization, managed through just the Federal Reserve, managed through just the Treasury, managed through just the dictator.
which is the model for universal basic income, which is not very good.
And just like they can giveth, they can also taketh. Just like they can program to send money, they can program to take away money. Because this isn't money, this is a credit. And the credit can be programmed to say it has to be spent by the end of the month or else it goes away. 20% has to be spent on this. None of it can be spent on that. If you do good things, like if you go vote because we expect you to vote, then maybe some of these allowances will go up. And if you jaywalk, maybe some of these allowances will go down. And if you don't have health insurance, maybe some of these costs will go up. You know, you shouldn't have that extra pack of cookies. We noticed, you know, your health insurance like said this through even if it was like a ZK snark, you know what I mean? It was just like, yeah, we don't know why, but according to your record, you cannot buy these cookies. No cookie for you.
It's insane for real. But I feel that people who are gonna get Trojan horsed onboarded through the digital dollar will figure it out eventually and find their way to through decentralization, hopefully. Like, I think a majority of the people will, and you're gonna have your average lazy person who prefers to rely on the government and whatnot. So yeah, but you were talking, Gary, about having crypto like for them to launder money. Look at the like Web 2 and Web 1 life. There are money laundering happens through banks. Why don't they stop it? Because who's doing all the money laundering? Am I doing it with $7,000? Is Gwayman doing it with $2,000? Like, who's doing the money laundering, and who's gonna be taking advantage of the loopholes in DeFi or in Web3? Or like, they talk about bad actors, but the bad actor isn't the founder making a project and running away with $10,000. That's game money for the big people. We haven't seen what real bad actors is like. Real bad actors is SBF. That's a bad actor, you know. And they want to try to protect us from those people, and they are the ones who shield FTX till oblivion.
Yeah, well, it's happening. You know, there's this from MIT lab working directly with you know, lots of high level things going on. Project Hamilton, building a central bank digital currency, you know, quote unquote, hypothetically, you know, the possibilities of central bank issued digital currencies, receiving the trust of the Federal Reserve, working with the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, relevant range of stakeholders, including central banks, leading companies, merchants, regulators, academic researchers, technologists, everybody but you. They're going to be making these decisions, and it's going to be interesting, and it's really important that we're paying attention to this. You know, and we're checking it out, and and that we're checking it out, and we are not checking out. Like, we don't want to check out of the conversation. We don't want to check out of like paying attention to what's going on. We want to you know, check in and, you know, keep an eye on this. And there's a lot of great people, a lot of what do you call them? I guess like crypto lobbyists who are advocating for cryptocurrency and advocating for our interests in Washington. And we need to support those folks and donate to them and pay attention to what's happening.
And is one of those examples that you're drawing attention to Coin Center?
That's right. Coin Center is one of those examples. There's their website, coincenter.org. Yeah, so I think it's coincenter.org. Better be. Yeah, it should be. I didn't click on an ad. I don't have an AdSense. Yeah, so coincenter.org is like a great website that I definitely recommend everybody like check out because when they fight for cryptocurrency, they're fighting for you. And no matter what your cryptocurrency is, no matter what your project is, coincenter.org is fighting for open, decentralized, immutable smart contracts that don't cater to, middlemen. And there's a lot of work to do out there. There's a lot of work out to do because the social credit stuff, the decentralization is really scary stuff. And some people ask why we fight against such a beast of a system. And we say, if not me, then who? Yeah. So the thing about fighting, and it's related to crypto, is that there's something called the Byzantine generals problem, right? The Byzantine generals dilemma. And that's like this concept that we think about in cryptocurrency and cryptography and just like game theory, I guess, when there's like a castle in the middle and there's these generals all around the castle. And if all the generals, the plan is that they're all going to attack at the same time of day. And if they all do that, they will 100% be able to destroy the castle. But the thing is that they need to get a message to each other about what time of day they're going to attack. And they have to get that message to the other generals in a way where if it gets intercepted, the spy by a spy or an interception, that they're all not going to get screwed up. So they all attack at different times, right? And that's what blockchain solves, is getting everybody to agree on what the truth is. And it's relevant to what we're talking about here, because in order to be successful in these fights, in order to be successful with our voice, because our voice is sort of so low and so diminished, because the media isn't a neutral actor, right? The media is saying what they want, how they want to shape the narrative, right? Just like how the Times Union, it's like a known fact. The Times Union is like sort of anti-technology. It's never a good thing about technology. And they're giving puff pieces for Sam Bankman-Fried, right? They're saying they're going to give Sam Bankman-Fried more money again. So it's not like, and so the point is that we all need to come together and we all need to make our voices heard. And we all need to do this like at the same time, because, when there's like a greater enemy, right? When there's like, when you're like, like what's some animal that like attacks another animal, that the bigger animal can destroy the single animal when it's by itself. But when all the smaller animals gather together, right, then they can attack the larger animal with much greater force, right? Because they can, collectively come together. It's just like a known fact.
That's why I'm a frog, bro. It's called the plague. You remember the plague? It was just some little frogs that couldn't do nothing. But when you put a bunch of little frogs together, what happened? That's literally what the project's about. That's why I said I need a frog. But no, you got it exactly right. It makes me think of that picture that goes around. It's like, you got a shark kind of chasing the fish in a way, but whenever the fish gets other fish and they form like this big old, shark figure themselves as the fish. That's what I think about a lot, and that's exactly what you're getting at there.
Can I add something? In revolution, it's not even as easy as getting them through, because a lot of people that you need to go through to get that message through are gonna get bought by like your enemy, and this is like something we should be really aware of. Don't have full trust when you're fighting anything, especially when you're fighting a fucking system as a whole. You're gonna see in the future a lot of entities that you think right now are with you will get bought to get silent and to to fail whatever the people are to do. And I've seen this happen, like how do you say, the first hand in a real life revolution, and definitely much easier to do in a digital revolution, you know. So yeah.
This is revolutionary technology. No joke. I mean, this is like the greatest shit since sliced bread.
And that's some good shit.
I love
Totally.
sliced bread. Yeah,
Man,
you guys ever buy bread? I don't know about you, but you ever buy a loaf of bread, like a fresh loaf of bread, and like you come home and then you realize you bought the loaf that was not sliced, and you got to pull out the bread knife and slice it. You know how annoying that is?
no,
I mean,
it's
first world problems, guys. First world problems.
Personally, I don't think I've had that happen.
You got to buy more fresh bread.
You got to look at the bread you're buying.
Don't buy the shit bread that comes in the manufactured aisle. You gotta go to the baker. You gotta get some.
Oh man, it's Wonder Bread
Trusty
running through
olive
these
oil
bones. It's Wonder Bread over here.
you guys buy sliced bread as baguettes, you mean?
Yeah,
What
well,
kind-
I mean, it's like I sometimes I buy baguettes, but and when I get a baguette, it's not sliced. No. But no, I get like fresh. I buy freshly baked bread, like Tuscan olive oil, like soft, fluffy,
Sounds amazing, man. What about
baked that day bread. Yeah,
The-
no, like
The kind
real-
of bread that doesn't last 24 hours and it's
It-
delicious for that one day.
I mean, it's really good that it does last 24 hours, but the second day is not as good. And one time, it's kind of gross. But I had a couple of slices and it fell behind the bread basket, and then I looked at it and I was like, "What's this?" Right? It was all black.
Oh
It
my.
was just it wasn't that old. It had to be like a week or two. You know what I mean? And that's kind, whatever. But if that was normal bread, it would look normal, right? But because there was like no preservatives, no bad stuff, it was nothing but real stuff, right? It's like, you ever take a McDonald's French fry and just like you ever see on YouTube, it doesn't ever go bad. It's like
Yeah.
American food. Processed food is really bad for you guys. Like, a part of being in Web3, like a part of being a Bitcoiner is that you got to only eat meat. A part of being in Web3 is that you gotta eat, like, it's not that you have to eat organic, but you gotta work to get the toxic elements out of your food. There's
Okay.
toxins. Everyone is eating poison, and as Web3 people, we have to get it in our ethos to stop eating the poison food.
So I'm stuck in Web 2.5 right now because I'm migrating my finances and my hobbies, but yeah, man, my diet it's still Web 1.5. They call it
And
Wonder
it's not just
Bread.
your diet; it's your diet, it's your girl's diet, it's your kid's diet. It's
That's
like
true.
it's like you got a baby. It's like, I know, like baby. I don't know where you're at, man, but like baby food for me, like back in the day, it was expensive, and it was like easier and cheaper with all the shit going on in my life. It was easier and cheaper to get some freaking carrots and get some vegetables and like steam them, not boil, steam them, and then to mash it up. You know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? It's like the same. It's the same stuff. And like, I knew where it came from. You hear about this horrible stuff all the time with like,
Lead and
being in baby powder. You know what I mean? Or Oreos are like full of pesticides, and everybody's feeding their babies Oreos. You know what I mean? It's like it's a rough business out there, and like food is like, especially in America. I don't know about you foreigners. I don't think foreigners understand. Food in America is like poison. Like normal food, you can go out of your way and go to farmers markets, and you can spend more at the grocery store, but you have to like go out of your way. Like, most Americans eat processed foods, and they're just not aware, right? It's like finances. We're not taught how to eat properly, and that's literally going into who you are, your blood, your brain, your ENS essence.
no, that's a good point, bro. Because yeah, no, I've eaten a lot of processed foods. I grew up on that stuff, and I still I haven't changed my diet a whole lot. I'll tell you that much. It's funny you brought up the McDonald's French fry. I seen a video of somebody smoking McDonald's French fry. You're actually able to light that thing up and like inhale the French fry and it will burn like a cigarette. It's crazy.
You see, go to YouTube after the show, and Google ice cream sandwich doesn't melt. Go to YouTube after the show, and Google American cheese doesn't melt. There's all these freaking cheeses, man. Like when you start like Googling this stuff and like actually doing it, and I'm not even getting into the conspiracy.
184 is watching it already. I can tell.
I know. I'll save the conspiracy stuff for the after show, and I'll tell you about the eggs and the rice and the shit that they don't want to know. That the rabbit hole goes deep, but it's like you can go. Like I did it. I purchased these ice cream. What happens is that there's so much gum. There's literal gum as like an ingredient. And the gum is like preventing the ice cream sandwich from melting in between, you know, in the supply chain while it's in like trucks and stuff. And there's so much gum. Think about eating gum. There's so much gum in these ice creams that they literally don't melt on a 90-degree summer day. And the same thing with the cheese, except it's not gum. It's like something else. It's crazy.
Can I tell you what how people live here? Okay, so we do have a lot of processed food and stuff like that, but we also have like real food. Okay, for example, I have chicken in my backyard, and I literally bring the eggs every morning and eat those, you know. And like this month, we're gonna, I don't know, can we say we're gonna kill the chicken? Yeah, man. Anyways, and at my home in the village, we bought literally, guys, you're gonna laugh, 6 sheep, and and we're gonna, like, you know, I'm not gonna say I don't know, okay, kill them as well, but this is how, like, it's very village stuff, you know, and the whole country is like a small village. But definitely, like, we have McDonald's, we have Burger King. You can eat that shit as much as you want. But after the economic collapse, a lot of people resorted into growing things in their garden. I didn't have anything in my garden before that, but like people were so much panicking about we're not going to be able to do anything anymore, and it started just for fun, and it became literally a habit, you know. Like if I don't go to the hen every morning and get the eggs, it's not my daily routine anymore. And yeah, man, it's healthy eating habits. And when you grow your own stuff, okay, I'm a revolutionary, right? I dream to be off the grid at one point in my life, literally off the grid. I don't want to buy any shit from any establishment. I want to be literally off the grid. And if you have any rebellious person inside of you, you need to start growing your own stuff and making your own stuff from now, because it's not an easy shit to do, and I messed up a lot, like trying to be independent in that way. But it's super. How do you say this? Like satisfying, super satisfying in a sense to be able to do that. But yeah, hearing about your regular life, like how much you guys have processed food, and you literally have to go out of your way to get not unprocessed food, is man, they are killing your society, to be honest. This is,
Or even at the grocery store, if you go to the grocery store and you get food that's like, you know, like chicken or vegetables, right? You have to pay more money to get the chicken or vegetables that does not have the antibiotics, that does not have the pesticides, right? You know, because I mean, it's just like it's like a tax, right? It's like you have like food for the, you know, you have the cheap food, which is like has all these extra chemicals and stuff, and it's, you know, it's like something, you know, and then if you know, then it's like, yeah, if you pay more money, then you can get the stuff that's like higher quality. It's rough that everything's, you know, not the same quality. And there's just like so much going out there. You know, Peace Beats is out here switching to drinking distilled water and seeing so much white chalky buildup on the bottom. It's crazy. Yeah, you know what that might be is that these plastic water bottles. This is like this. I'm telling you, this is sort of related to Web3 because Web3 we got to get our health in order, right? But these water bottles, they freeze and they unfreeze. They get hot and they get cold, and you're drinking like pieces of plastic in that water, you know. And so, you know, you want to go off the grid. You got to get like a Berkey. You guys know Berkey water filter? It's like these water filters that use gravity. And there's like the top filters that, you know, filter the water. Then there's the bottom filters that take out all the heavy metals, including the fluoride, you know, without going down that rabbit hole. And it's all just like a gravity filtration system.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really, really intense, like how much is against us, right? It's like technology is against us, the financial system is against us, the rat race is against us, the media pitting us against each other is against us. And yeah, food and nutrition, you know, the education system, the health system, yeah, food and nutrition at the core of it, of who we are, is like, and it's not just like your health, right? It's our culture, right? The culture of having food, the culture of eating, the culture of connecting over and literally breaking bread, right? Figuratively and literally, and not just Wonder Bread, but freshly baked bread.
Gary, this is really unfortunate, but like, yeah, people who need to start doing this because it's for you, it's not for anyone else. But we are too lazy to do it, and if I didn't have to do it, and like I didn't have to grow my own vegetables, okay? But there was a really tough time where we thought we're gonna get like a war is gonna break through. We are a total economic collapse, and we might not be able to import stuff anymore, okay? It's not like I was literally broke. It was a country that was in a super insane crisis, and a lot of chaos was happening.
Crazy.
Yeah, and
I'm really sorry that's happening.
No, it's okay. And everyone was doing it, you know, and this changed a whole society because this whole society is now independent in a way, and they learned how they can do their own shit, you know. Also here in Lebanon, everything organic is much cheaper than buying not organic stuff. So if you want to buy, I don't know, chicken from a factory roastery or whatever that is, it's much more expensive than going to a local butcher shop who
That's
who,
good.
like,
That's good.
really-
Until they change that, right? I mean, that's why like when there are these like disruptive events, you know, then, you know, it's like, yeah, just generally speaking, yeah, it's like I think we got the idea as far as that goes, but it is getting a little late. We are like you know, over 2.5 hours. I know Man's trying to get out of here. I could probably have these live streams for hours. I could just keep on going, especially with you guys who are so awesome at helping keep the conversation like alive. Yeah, and it's like I love all the engagement, and you know, it's a blast for me. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Oh, thanks for having us, man. Yeah, I didn't mean to make it seem like I was trying to jet out. I think we're on the same time.
No. You said like 40 minutes. You said 40 minutes ago that you had 30 minutes.
I know, but the convo gets good, and then like, you know, Thread Girl's talking, and the whole time I'm like, man, she is preaching, because I like forget, you know. I just think that I like you guys like my friends, and I like in my mind I'm like they're around the corner, like they know what it's like, but we all are in different situations. And yeah, man, you want to eat good over here, it's expensive. That's part of the thing for me. Groceries are like already expensive, so then trying to get the good stuff, it's like, well, do I want to eat good, like and healthy for 3 days, or do I want to feed, like, does everybody want to eat for the 7 days? And that's what it comes down to. It's tough, man.
We're all in that, and we're all in that boat. And there's like shrinkflation, right? Like everything is getting smaller. They're changing the ingredients of things. It's like everything's getting more expensive. And it's like this is the crushing force of why Bitcoin was invented. Like literally, right? The banks literally getting bailed out whenever they make all these horrible decisions and they lose everybody's money, and then the banks are getting bailed out, right? Like millions or hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. And then there's literally crumbs if people are so lucky to have anything. And, just the world's not getting better. And in Bitcoin and subsequently Web3, like Ethereum and Web3, is providing the infrastructure for people to have a fair shot at a Web3 economy, right? At a Web3 world with trust protocols where we can have decentralized money. We could have decentralized cryptography and computation and websites, and we could have decentralized identity, and we could do it in an open, trustless, permissionless, sort of way, which has risks and levels of centralization. And that's why we talk about this stuff.
Web3 revolution, Web3 revolution.
Yeah.
So something that I often think about when I feel not in control of something, and I tie this into Web3 quite often, it's the notion that you got to know the rules of the game. And when you know the rules of the game, you get to make some pretty powerful decisions, and you get to make decisions in your own life, which brings to the other analogy. It's like we're all trapped in some particular way. And so let's say you're a prisoner and you're trapped, and your arms and your legs are all sort of shackled together, and you're fighting it, and you can't do all these things that you want to do, and life is terrible and it sucks, and it's completely out of your control, and you're resisting because you want to do all these things in this different direction, until you realize, well, what are the rules of the games, or what are the limits of these shackles? You go, okay, well, I can maybe not move my hands apart like this, but maybe I can move up here. Maybe I can move up there. And they're all the things in life that we need to balance, whether it's the budget, the budget, the food, our independence, our choices, everything that is available to us. So the rules of the game are, we now have things in Web3. We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have decentralization. And we recognize that we can work within those confines. There's things that are somewhat out of our control. And then we use, the coin centers, and we use these platforms and whatever it might be. And sometimes you have to break the shackles, and you do get revolutions and things. But absent of those liberating moments, the rules of the game and the extent of your shackles is your absolute freedom and your ability to make a difference and be peaceful during it, because it's going to be a long, long, long journey.
I gotta applaud that. I'm serious. That was solid, man. I appreciate that. That was really good, and that was a great analogy for that. It's 11:45 over here, and as I said last night, I do still work a day job. I don't want to, but I have to. So I gotta be up in probably about 5-6 hours, and I am gonna get up and jet out of here. Get me a little snack, maybe some Wonder Bread with some peanut butter and jelly, something like that.
I love it.
But I'll be on again this week for sure.
Gary, this is awesome. Trego, Agreement, it's awesome. Thank you for holding this, Gary, and thank you all for being great.
Definitely.
Yeah, great, man, super amazing chatting with you with 184 and with Gary. And Gary allows me to be more on the show. I'm definitely never missing him. Like, it was insane, man, being able to talk to you like this. And yeah, it was a great chat.
Yeah, well, another shout out from Kimba.
Yeah, Kimba.
Yeah, we love you, Kimba.
Absolutely love this conversation, listening to like-minded, wonderful people. We think you're wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Like this video, subscribe to Minting Coins, follow us on Twitter. consider becoming a member at Patreon or mintingcoins.com. And until next time, remember that we are minting